Ah, woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We are fired up. The Padres, man. 4-2 loss in the Bay Area. They are
can't buy a bucket.
The gentleman's sweep is already in place. Ooh. Will they get swept for real? We'll find out the stunning conclusion to this road series against the NL West divisional rival here. Because here's the trouble with this. With every game they lose, they drop 2 back in the race because obviously the Giants pick up 2 and pick up 1 and then they lose 1 in the divisional race. So it's even worse. Mm-hmm. It's just like these losses sting a little worse. And they are playing some decent baseball. It's not been all bad. It's just a mixture of terrible luck and inopportune timing for things to happen to them. And then also a lack of confidence, because as soon as this team, like last night, for example, gets into a situation, it kind of feels like they're like, well, I guess we're going to lose again. It sort of feels like the fight leaves this team.
It feels like they got out of it last night. Like Fernando Tatis makes an excellent throw there when the Giants are putting together a rally. He throws a guy out at home plate by about 15 feet. And it goes to commercial break, like inning over. All right, the Giants have a 1-0 lead. That's doable. They can get back in this. And then they get back from commercial break. And the play's been overturned by New York inexplicably. Right. It's like a little confused. They say Gary Sanchez is covering up the plate. Well, he was out by 15 feet. That doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So Bomel gets thrown out, which the good thing about that is no one's on Twitter this morning complaining that Bomel needs to get fired because he got thrown out of the game and he couldn't make any decisions late. But it was just it's like, okay, when it rains, it pours, because everything is going against the Padres right now. It's not just them. It's not just the fact that they can't hit with runners in scoring position, which they didn't do again last night. Now it's also umpiring and New York officials trying to ruin the game for them. It's confusing. It's confounding, man.
Well, that falls on the side of bad luck, I guess. Yeah. But I mean, look, that's 1 run. Well, that is 1 run.
But it ended up being 4. Or ended up being 3.
That is true. That is very true. But on the other hand, like you said, can't score with men in scoring, or can't get runs and then in scoring position. They were 1 for 12 last night. There was 2 double plays that happened last night that shouldn't have happened. There was a horrible base running issue with Manny Machado getting thrown out at third. I mean, that shouldn't have happened. And it's almost like you're watching the Padres. They know they're under the gun. They know they have to win, and they're pressing just a little too hard, and they're making mistakes and getting thrown out.
And also, it just sort of feels like there's quit in them. Like, where at this point, you should have a team that, I mean, no matter what, bad luck or otherwise, they're going to fight to the bitter end because they know their season's on the brink. Meanwhile, like you just said, you have a situation like that where, yeah, I get it. Like Bob Melvin gets thrown out. Your manager is now waiting in the clubhouse for you. But there are certain teams who respond to stuff like that where they go, okay, yeah, we gave up 1 run. Darvish goes out there and gives up 2 more. He puts you in a 4-0 hole before his night's over. And the game felt over then. Like if you turn off the game in the 5th inning, you would save yourself a lot of heartache, because at that point I knew where this game was heading, because this team has no fight. It's kind of ridiculous to say that, especially after coming off of such a positive week for the Padres. But they've reverted to form. We found out that the exceptional week that they were able to tie together at home last week was the exception. The rule with the Padres is expect misfortune. Expect this team to underwhelm. Expect this team to quit in the late innings or not get hits in timely situations in late innings. We're talking to Danny Vietti about this. Not only do they have a bad average with runners in scoring position, still under 200 on the year, which is bonkers considering how much they're paying their lineup, but 7th inning on, it's also under 200, which means that in those specific situations, they are absolutely blanking with runners in scoring position.
It's interesting that you say that you felt like they don't have fight, or you feel like they're quitting early. Last night, we did not text this. I did not send this out. I was watching the game, and I said to my family as we're sitting there, I said, Padres are done, man. They are done. We were, I think, in the 6th inning, and I said, this is wrapped up right now.
Yep.
They are not coming out of this, and that has been the feeling of this entire season, of where you get a little bit, and then it's over. And there's got to be something in the mindset that can be switched around that they just can't find.
It's not only bad, their runners in scoring position average, it has a potential to be the worst in Major League Baseball history.
Well, if it keeps up.
This lineup that cost, $270 million has potential to be the worst in MLB history at one of the most important stats. That's the story of the season.
It's early. And I keep saying that because there's
88 left.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole lot of season left. But so to say anything, to be that bold, like it's foreboding like disaster, because that's what we'd be talking about if the Padres stay on this tear. Would be kind of silly at this point, because again, 88 games is a lot of games.
It's a lot of time. But what have they shown you to make you think they can turn it around?
Well, that's the problem, is they lack fight. And my concern is that if we get to the trade deadline, which is approaching quicker and quicker, we're almost in the month of July. The trade deadline's August 1st, and this team doesn't prove that this is the year for whatever reason. All of a sudden, you may become sellers at the trade deadline because the current team you have in place isn't doing it. Like, the fact that we're talking about potentially moving on from Josh Hader is ridiculous.
And Juan Soto.
The fact that we're talking about moving on from Juan Soto is ridiculous. Like, these are supposed to be two of the best players in the league at their position. And by the way, they're not necessarily the whole reason the Padres are losing.
I'd say they've both been pretty good this year.
The problem is you just need a spark. You need to find something out there, because there are so many other problems on this roster.
And those two are movable, and you could probably get quite a bit in return for both of them, whether that's farm system or pieces that can help the team right now. But you look at the needs of this team. I mean, they need cheap bats. That's what they need. Juan Soto is not a cheap bat. Josh Hader is not a cheap arm, and they probably need an extra bullpen guy also. So, like, when you look at what happens here in a few weeks when we hit the trade deadline, maybe those are moves that need to be made, at the very least, just to stop the insanity of doing the same thing over and over again, which is what they've done to this point.
Yeah, but Juan Soto's been a decent bat.
He's been great.
Whether it's been cheap or expensive, Juan Soto's been there. So if you get rid of Juan Soto to get a cheap bat, I mean, I guess you're cutting payroll at that point. That's about it.
No, you're cutting payroll, and you're setting yourself up for the next few years also, which is what you have to start thinking about, because right now the Padres AA and AAA system is wrecked. They got decent single A and low A ball, but that's about it.
Well, the hope is you restock the farm a little bit, right? So you move on from Juan Soto, you get back some prospects. Now, what's going to go down as an unfortunate reality for the Padres, or for all of us here in San Diego, is how important was Juan Soto to the playoff run. Last year, I mean, he made some plays, but it doesn't. I don't necessarily think because Juan Soto made him, nobody else could have. Juan Soto has not done anything since he's been a Padre that I think to myself, like, yeah, geez, only Juan Soto.
Well, you are correct.
I mean,
you are correct.
Fernando Tatis Jr., trust me, there are plenty of moments, even still this season. Daily, yeah, this season, where you say only Fernando Tatis Jr. Machado, there are plenty of times where I'm saying only Manny Machado. I haven't had that moment yet, not yet with Juan Soto. And you divorce yourself of basically all of your top prospects to get him. So whatever we get in return, I mean the Padres get in return for a Juan Soto trade, means that it's a loss. It's a net loss for the Padres. That sucks. So if they do move on from him at the trade deadline, that means he's going to a team with a chance that thinks that he has potential to help them. The Padres recover some of those prospects. But again, that's looked at as a net loss. Same thing with Josh Hader, because who knows what shape he's going to be in at deadline time. Right now, it almost feels like it's like gas and brakes. You don't want him to look bad before the trade deadline. God bless me. Don't let him go into a slump before the deadline, because then you miss out on getting some of those prospects back. Yeah. And by the way, those prospects, you're not necessarily waiting on for them to become major leaguers, unless they're like on the brink, whatever team they're coming from. I mean, some of them you're just going to turn over and flip for players that you're going to need for your run next season. But it's crazy to be thinking about next season on June 22nd with a team that's supposed to be this talented.
They've led
that's
us
the
to
rub.
that. And I can't wait to talk to Kevin Acey today because I think that we all, after that homestand where they did play really well, they won, what was it, 4 out of 6 against the Rays, and I'm blanking on the other team. But
Guardians.
Guardians, you're right. It was really positive, really good homestand. And we get into this Giants series, and I think we all discounted how important this Giants series was because we thought that they were kind of rolling. But this is a 4-game series against a division opponent who's ahead of you in the standings. More importantly, who's ahead of you in the wild card. A sweep here is crucial to what's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Well, they've won 10 in a row, and that puts Padres 6 games out of the wild card position.
6 games out of wild card, 9.5 out of the division. Did you see the graphic that I guess MLB TV put up last night about the Giants' 10-game win streak they've been on?
I did not.
They're hitting 298 with runners in scoring position over the last 10. Perfect. 298.
Well, that number goes up when you have umps making the calls for you.
Well,
no, 298 is 298, man. Like, that is phenomenal. Good for the Giants.
I thought you just cussed right there. I was like, what?
Good Lord. Yeah, it's rough. It really is rough to be on the receiving end in the same division of a loss like that. Or I should say losses. All of these have been kind of embarrassing. Getting walked off in extras, which reveals the fact that the Padres can't win in extras. I mean, they're terrible in extra innings this season. Whatever their record is,
Over.
They haven't won in
They have
extras?
not won a single extra innings
game. I thought they had won one. God bless me. But again, that's another thing. So you got that situation.
And that was a stat where last year they were phenomenal in extra inning games.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Padres, if they showed anything, it was a little grit when you got to the extended scorecard. This season, they've had trouble, obviously, with meltdowns from their bullpen at times. And that reared its head in the last game, where Hader walks in the walk-off run. And then obviously what we saw this game is more endemic to what we've seen over the course of the season, which is this team's got a lot of quit in them, that they can't recover from a middle inning collapse. Look, all of that happened in the 5th inning. There's still a lot of baseball yet to be played. And it felt like in your household, same in mine, I was ready to turn the TV off because I know how this story ends. I've seen this go down before. So yeah, it's a struggle.
It's depressing. I mean, it is depressing because we're sitting here right now talking about what we have to do as a Padre fan to look at a team going, okay, if we shuffle this piece and shuffle this piece, that can set up 3-4 years down the line. Well, the problem is we're not looking for 3 or 4 years down the line. We're looking for right now. So we looked at the team last year. We looked at the team that was built this year, and you go, this is it, man. This is the year. And that's how it was built. That's how it's built to the fans. That's how it was built to the season ticket holders, to the people walking up to the box office, buying the tickets, going into every game here, because this is the team that's supposed to go out there and win, bring home the championship. This is going to be our year. And here we are, not halfway through the season going, well, maybe in 3 or 4 years we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Which that is not where our head was supposed to be.
No.
Not sure if you guys saw this yesterday, but it came down from the Dan Le Batard show. Skip Schumacher was on it. Skip Schumacher was with the Padres as like a bench coach, kind of one of those guys from 2018 to 2021. He kind of was out of town the first year Bob Melvin was in town. Before that, he was with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now he is managing the Miami Marlins. He was on the Dan Le Batard show yesterday, and take a listen to this and tell me who you think it sounds like.
Well, look, that's
It's either about the Cardinals or the Padres. Those are the only 2 other teams.
Well, it sounds to me like he's talking directly about the Padres. Remember, it was Skip Schumacher who came over here with Manny Machado.
2018.
Yeah, like it was part of getting Manny was he was going to bring in some of his guys. And look, I don't know. Maybe he's talking strictly about the front office. Maybe he's talking about the clubhouse level too. There are internal problems with the Padres. It's not all what you see on the field. And look, we don't have the sources, but we talk to people who do. And as a result of that, we hear things about this organization that the public doesn't. And I can promise you what you're seeing on the field, like what happens in a night in, night out basis, aren't the only problems with the San Diego Padres. I'll leave it there for now, but the problem is winning covers up a lot. It's like when you go out and you work all day long and then all of a sudden your wife springs on you. We have dinner with my family in like 15 minutes. Where have you been? You're like, I was working overtime. We talked about this. Well, no. You need to take a shower. There's no time for a shower. I got to wash my hands and just dump some cologne on me and hope they don't smell the BO. Like, you walk out the door, you're uncomfortable, and you're hoping nobody can smell you. Mm-hmm. But look, I mean, when you're losing, when life starts coming at you fast on the ball field, well, all of a sudden that cologne starts fading and you can smell what reeks underneath. And that's what we're seeing with this team. We're seeing that winning last year, especially down the stretch and into the postseason, it covered up a lot. We're seeing this team really start to show who they are, which is a bunch of guys who seem to be more out for themselves. And as a result of that, the egos get in the way from them becoming an actual team.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an ego thing, or if it's just not gelling in some manner. I mean, I can tell you that the more they lose, the more it will become about me, because they're going to be looking, and what I'm doing everything I can. I don't know what the guy next to me is doing. And no matter how they're playing, that's the thought that's going to be, because that's human nature. But if they can string together wins, I mean, everything changes.
Cures everything.
It's going to have to be a lot. The text line has exploded this morning. 913, starting with some positive. Looking good, fellas. Thank you, 913.
Yeah, thank you, 913.
He would follow that up with, this team is clearly not a postseason team, deflated.
Yeah. Oh, well, here's another positive. How about, and this is true, Morejon came back and looked good. He threw a couple strikes. Yeah.
We can do Padres positives today if you guys want. This from the 951, the curse of the Kershaw meme. Do you remember that? The Padres put up the Kershaw meme after beating the Dodgers one time. Season's been pretty ass ever since.
Well, I don't buy the curse, because it's not like the Padres were world beaters before that either.
They were better.
Not much. They haven't been good or really great, maybe for tiny stretches all season long.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were better or if it was just so early that we still had more optimism.
That might have been it. 408, Padres get a Padres season over, guys. It's not over. It's 88 games left. They could make something happen.
It's not over, but I can tell you, you keep putting together losses like that, it starts to slip away pretty quick.
Well, you talked about like when it becomes about me, and it's true. And I've been on teams like this where it's a little bit of self-preservation. You have guys all of a sudden, I've said this before, when you're losing, all those nicks and bumps and bruises, they really start hurting a little bit more.
Yes, they do.
Guys start ending up in the training room with, bad knees and bad backs that they probably would be able to play through if it weren't for the record that you were dealing with. All of a sudden, you start hearing bad audio clips out of the clubhouse or the locker room. And it's because all of a sudden, guys aren't fighting for each other the way they used to be.
Right.
It's more about like, well, I'm doing what I need to do around here. Like we kind of heard that from Juan Soto. We almost heard it from Juan Soto. It felt like he was twisting the knife a little bit because he got on a little bit of a heater. The Padres were struggling. And I think it was Kevin Acee who asked him, like, hey, Juan, what's going on with this club? He goes, don't ask me, ask those other guys.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was explained away by Juan Soto, meaning like, yeah, listen, like, it's all of us. Like, it's a whole team. It's not just me. It's like, okay. Maybe that's what he meant.
Right.
Or maybe, just maybe, he was talking about, well, I'm getting mine. What about them getting theirs?
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I've been a part of teams where not everybody loved each other. It wasn't kumbaya, but we all played together and we played hard together because we were doing special things together. So you can put whatever ego you have on the shelf for the greater good. I've been on teams where it all falls apart because guess what? No matter how much you like the team and your teammates, when things are going really wrong, all of a sudden the worst of you can come out. And I watched it. I watched the defense fight with each other during a goal line stand during a road game during an awful season.
Yeah,
and I was watching this happen from the sideline going, what are they doing out there?
Yeah.
But this happens, man. Like, so I hope it doesn't get that ugly. I mean, it definitely feels like after a bunch of positive last week on the road, it's been pretty ugly.
The frustration sets in when the goal starts to fade away, when the light at the end of the tunnel starts to diminish because you can no longer get there.
Yep.
That's when things start to fall apart, and it's getting pretty dim right now.
Here's a positive. If you want to see us try to flip a cup on our ass, go over to our TikTok page at Big Rich TD Fletch. There is a lady who does it extremely well at first, and then there's us.
Yeah, we stitched together a video. It's Hot Guys doing hot girl stuff. Volume 1.
She commented.
Oh yeah. She's got a whole bunch of followers.
She gave 11 out of 10.
Yeah, she did say that we look good.
Yeah.
I think she was lying. But if you want to check that out, go to
dad bods are in.
You know what? I was thinking I didn't do a great job with it. It's probably because I didn't have those shorts on.
Yeah, you should have put on the shorts.
We
Yeah.
need spandex.
Yeah, I need like the
really ride up the crack.
booty shorts.
You need the booty shorts.
Mhm.
You need the booty shorts. Trust me.
Order some of those on Amazon.
That's for the best. Ill-fitting, if you could. Also, there's this. We got to talk to you about our new favorite steakhouse, the Remy.
Yeah, the Remy out in Mission Valley, a fine dining experience. They offer an incredible menu featuring premium American Wagyu meat cuts, seafood, crafted cocktails, and both new and old world wines.
Contemporary American classics with Western grit, modern twist. Love the cocktails. We had a bunch of them. I'm a big fan of the Gold Rush, and I highly recommend it to anyone. There's a dehydrated pomegranate that sits in there, and it is so tasty.
I like that we ordered drinks and then we just passed them around to each other. Like, no, you should probably taste this one.
Yeah, we're just sipping out each other's glasses. Basically, it's contemporary American classics with Western grit and a modern twist. I want to talk to you though about the meat.
Yes.
Because Frank the Tank, the owner of the Remy, he explained to us how this all comes together. Basically, you have these Japanese Wagyu bulls, and they meet up with these New Jersey cows in Whitefish, Montana, and they just play a little, I don't know, jazzy bass lines, and all of a sudden you have your steaks. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Remember the cowboy tomahawk?
Oh golly. Oh yeah. No,
Lord.
it was the cowboy ribeye.
Cowboy ribeye.
Cowboy ribeye. Bone in. God bless America.
How about them tacos?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
The
gosh.
surf and turf
The
tacos.
surf and turf tacos.
I even like the Caesar salad. I liked everything over there.
I like the fact that we just sat there and it was hit after hit that just kept getting set in front of us. And we talked about the drinks, but the drinks, that was part of the experience when we sat there and watched Ken chip out a nice square, a big ice cube, toss it in the glass, give it a little spin, grab that Remy stamp and put it right on top. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. But they also have an extensive wine list of vintage bottles. They provide something for everyone and every occasion.
That's incredible. This place is my favorite. It's uniquely decorated. They got that Western flair. We're talking about plush leather seating, okay? Dark wood accents. It all pays homage to that last frontier right here in the US of A. Intimate, perfect for an intimate gathering, or bring out your buddies. Ben's doing that.
Yeah, bring all your friends. I got a reservation of 8 for July 8th at night, and I can't wait for it. Bring everyone. Book your reservation now at theremysd.com. That is theremysd.com.
Can't wait. Coming up, the NFL, they've got some gambling rules. Are they taking another look at them here? We're going to talk about it coming up next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. Padres have now lost 3 straight to the Giants in the Bay Area. 4-2 loss last night. Update on the standings with 88 games left in the season. Padres now 9.5 games out of first in the division, 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 5-3. Diamondbacks took down the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers beat the Angels 2-0. Shohei Ohtani was fantastic. The Angels just got 0 run support for him. NBA draft tonight. Spurs have the first pick. They're presumed to take Victor Wembanyama from France, who's a 7'3" stud, one of the highest rated prospects in NBA history. And in golf, the Travelers Championship getting underway today at TPC Rivers Highland in Cromwell, Connecticut. Intelligence runs in the family. Innovation runs in the family. Extraordinary runs in the family. The Mercedes-Benz range of SUVs. Every member waiting to impress. Learn more at MBUSA.com. That is MBUSA.com.
It's a good call, Darren. It's a good call because we also have a pair of tickets to go see Fall Out Boy Saturday, July 1st at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at livenation.com. But it is Thursday, so we mustache you a question coming up a little bit later for those Fall Out Boy tickets.
Yeah, I have a feeling in the 7 o'clock hour, you might be listening to an opportunity to win there. Don't want to tip our hand too far, but those tickets will be available. All right. The NFL is doing something that I do oftentimes. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old in the house right now. 4 about to be 5 years in July. And what I do when I want them to really, really pay attention is something very, very important. I sit them down and I make sure there's eye contact and I say, okay, we're going to grandma's house tomorrow. We're waking up early. You guys need to go to bed early tonight. And this is going to be one of those things where we're going to take one toy. We're not going to have an argument about it. We're taking all of our one toy each. And okay,
do you do the how many toys we're going to take?
Yeah.
One toy. Okay. Hey, you know what? I found 2 toys I'd really like to take. Is that going to be okay? No. One toy.
No. So say mommy wants to bring 2 toys. Yeah. So if mommy wants to bring 2 toys, what do you think? What do you think daddy's going to say to mommy? Oh, she can take 2 toys. Absolutely not.
You're wrong.
I'm going to tell mommy she can only take 1 toy because we're only allowed to take 1 toy.
Right.
So I make things as clear as I can because they're little kids. Well, the NFL is now doing that to the players and the coaches in the NFL with their gambling policy. They are basically sitting everybody down and going, okay, guys, we do not gamble here.
Due to some recent events, we feel like we need to go over the gambling policy. You'll notice here there's a new sign that's hanging in the locker room. It has 6 numbers on it, 6 bullet points, things that we have to go over. Number 1, don't bet on the NFL.
Yeah.
But what if it's not my team?
Let's go ahead and check number 2. Don't gamble at your team facility while traveling for a road game or staying at a hotel.
So,
but what if it's nighttime?
I see. I don't. Maybe we need more rules. But move on to number 3.
Yeah. Number 3. Don't have someone bet for you.
But what if it's under their name?
Wait, okay. We should probably add a subsection.
We may need more numbers here.
Maybe 3A also.
How about number 4 here? Don't share team inside information.
But what if Uncle Buck asks?
Uncle Buck is
that's part of sharing.
He's the problem.
That's part of sharing.
Well, actually, you can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're family.
You're sharing. If Uncle Buck even asks you and you want to give Uncle Buck some money, refer to rule number 3. We're just going to stay away from that.
What's number 5?
Don't enter a sports book during the NFL playing season.
Don't
even go in.
But what if the restaurant's on the other side?
Don't even go in.
Right.
Don't even go in.
That's not the restaurant for you then. Gosh, he's got it.
Yeah. How about number 6? We're just going to round out with this one. Don't play daily fantasy football.
But what if my teammate told me he's not going to play that much?
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and not play any daily fantasy football.
So those are the 6 rules. And Travis, you did a beautiful job laying it out. And I think I did a pretty okay job of playing the NFL player. But here's the issue. They are allowed to gamble on some things. So you can't have the clear black and white rule, right? That says, hey, you are not gambling whatsoever. Well, when you give an inch, sometimes people take a little more.
Well, here's the problem. These are adults, and they should be allowed to do what they want to do if it's not harming the business that they're performing. And I mean, the reality is, if you just follow those rules, right, you can still sports bet. You just can't do it while you're at your team facility. You can still play fantasy football. You just cannot wager daily. Like, there are ways for you to still get your fix, have your fun. It really does feel like this is allowing for a lot of wiggle room, but they had to stipulate this because I think, A, they didn't do a very good job of promoting this publicly, at least. And there were a lot of players and agents who have, in terms of the punishment players have received, have pushed back against the league saying these rules have not been made clear. There's so much gray area that even coaches who are supposed to be in positions where they're telling the players what the rules are so they don't break them, they're breaking the rules too. And maybe in certain cases, unbeknownst to them, maybe they're like, well, I didn't know I couldn't bet on college baseball if I was sitting in my office at work. What do I got to do? Drive down to the Arby's? And the NFL was like, yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. Because if you're betting on college baseball while getting a roast beef sandwich, we don't care.
Make sure you get the curly fries because they're really good.
The seasoned curly fries? Are you kidding me?
No doubt.
That's what happened with Jameson Williams, right? He didn't know he wasn't supposed to, like, he was betting on something he was allowed to bet on, but he was doing it while at a team hotel.
Correct.
Right. I mean, to me, the rules seem pretty clear. I just don't feel like there's a lot of gray area.
I just don't know that the NFL made them super clear at the start, and now they're backpedaling a little bit because they're realizing, oh, a lot of people are getting in trouble here.
They just didn't make them publicly clear. That's what I was kind of alluding to, is I think that they made it clear to the players in the locker room, but they make it clear to us because also what inevitably what will happen as a reaction to this, and you will see it, the article will be written. It would have been written months ago or a year ago if it came out in concert with the new rules. You're going to see the NFL is a bunch of hypocrites. Look, you can see it coming because they're making all this money off of gambling and they're putting all these restrictions on the players and the players, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can see this coming. It's like, that's why I think there should be less rules, not more. That's why I frankly think that players should be able to bet on just about anything except for player props up until we're talking about betting against your team. I say less rules, not more, because this is more confusing than just saying, A, don't bet on your own or don't bet against your own team. B, you're not allowed to bet on player props. The rest is up to you. It's your money. Go and do whatever you want with it.
Feels like that's where we're heading, unless they turn around and say, if you sign an NFL contract, there is no betting, period.
That's where I think this is headed.
It's one of two ways.
That's where I think it's headed. You want less rules? The rules are no gambling at all, ever, on anything.
You're going to have
during the NFL season.
So many suspensions.
You're going to have so many suspensions.
Initially,
right?
No, I mean, it'll continue because guys play card games. Guys, I mean, look, the problem.
I think sports gambling would be the.
Yeah, but trust me, there are rules against gambling altogether, and people break those rules too. I mean, like, you're not supposed to play card games for money. It happens on the back of planes all the time. Nobody's ever been suspended. Well, to my knowledge, has ever been suspended for that, for conduct detrimental to a team, because I'm pretty sure there would be a player mutiny. But I think if you add more rules, you're going to have more suspensions, what's going to lead to players eventually pushing back, and potentially you may have a disruption in the labor agreement. The union may get involved,
which is crazy to me. I mean, look, this is a private company, and I don't care what they bet on. I really don't care. But as a private company, I feel like they should be able to justify and stipulate what they want their rules to be. Look, this you have to wear a helmet out there. That's it. I mean, that's part of the uniform.
But that rule makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it makes sense as the gambling rule of they're trying to preserve the integrity of the game,
at least from a public perception standpoint.
Correct.
Here's where I push back on that. Like, if I know that a player is betting, like betting against his own team, then I'm worried about that. Then I'm going to be like, oh, clearly has some inside information on his side of the docket here, on his side of the ledger here, that leads me to believe that they're going to lose that game. But if a player bets on his team to win, I got no problem with that.
But the problem to me, if I was running the company, I'm looking at this going, I have so many people here working under us. We have so many bets going on. I can't keep track of it all. How about this? Don't bet on anything. This is too much of a headache for me.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to go, hey, let's look at this guy. Oh, what'd you bet on? Okay, let's see. We've got 41 bets that you place. Let me make sure that they're not on your team or your players or whatever it may be. How about just don't do it?
What I do think is in the coming weeks, in the coming months, there's going to be a lot new job openings in the NFL that are positions that are being created for gambling compliance. There's probably going to be
Fantastic.
32 teams made around the league of gambling compliance officer, a gambling compliance deputy, and so on and so forth.
Hey, listen,
What a delight.
Here's the problem. If the NFL, this private group, this private company is going to stipulate these rules on their players, that's fine. Why don't you just stop doing business with the sports books?
Yeah,
Stop
billions
doing
of dollars from FanDuel, billions of dollars from DraftKings.
Yeah, just stop doing it.
That's
right?
a valid point.
Right?
What's the dude
So if you're gonna say to me as a player, by the way, I'm the product. Me and my 2,000 friends who have a union and a strong one. It's not the strongest in sports, but a strong sports union. You're going to tell me what I'm allowed to do while you're making billions of dollars off these deals that you cut with gambling companies, but I'm not allowed to sports bet? Screw you. Well, we just won't play them. You want to get stupid, we'll get stupid. See, this is the problem
But
when you overstep your power in a partnership.
But at the same time, would they not argue like, yeah, it's in the contract, man. We are paying you for this position.
I'm ripping the contract in half. Screw your contract. The reality of this situation is when
You
you
just tore up a $5 million document.
when you think you have power, that's when you're at your most vulnerable.
Mhm.
The NFL right now, I think, is even exerting too much power over the players. Now, the coaches can't control anything. The coaches don't have a union. Coaches are props of the organization. Their salaries are paid by these owners.
And they're focused on football.
Well, so are the players. That's not the point. They don't have a union. They have no ability to fight back. The players, though, they can. So if you put too many of these rules in place, you're going to get pushback from the players. The first star player, by the way, who ends up getting suspended for a gambling problem or breaking a gambling rule, trust me, there's going to be a massive amount of pushback. I think that this is the worst thing the NFL could have done. They should have made this simpler. They should not have made this more complex. There should not be 6 rules. There should be like 2.
Text line has exploded about the Padres. We will get back to them in the 7 o'clock hour, but I'll read a couple of them here. 619, if we're sitting 10 games under and 8 out of the wild card at the trade deadline, why wouldn't you consider trading Soto? He'd be worth a lot more now with a year of control a year from now than he would be as a rental next year, and you could get a few close to MLB ready players. Something to consider. I do agree with that, and we'll ask Kevin Acey about it just because that's going to be a huge topic here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
619, team, season is over. Our longest win streak this year is 3 games, which shows this team's true potential. Trade Soto, Hader, and anyone else you can clear money to go after Ohtani this offseason.
That would be incredible.
Wow.
Can you imagine if, like, that's the goal? Like, so this season is going sideways right now, but if it really does hit the skids, where all of a sudden Peter Seidler, he's just combing his mustache like, we're getting Ohtani. Make it happen, Preller. And he's but what about this season? We're getting Ohtani, I said, AJ.
I need to free up $1 billion.
By the way, you're fired, AJ. 913, don't forget Therapy Thursday. Is that a cry for help?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
You need Therapy Thursday,
I'll tell you what,
913?
We'll offer our services right here and right now. 70470. You can start your message with team. We'll do a Therapy Thursday if there's a need out there. So anybody out there listening to our voices right now, if you have a problem going on in your life that you need help with, text us 70470. Start your message with team. We've done this in the past. We weren't very helpful.
No, it was not.
I think we broke up a couple, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still listening. They listen in separate houses.
Open door pooping is revolting. I think that's what we came down. That was the bottom line. Of
I did it last night, and I was very proud of myself.
In front of your
no
wife?
shame.
In front of your wife?
She was in bed, but the bed to the bathroom is not that far away.
Wow, yeah.
Horrifying.
Man, that's crazy.
I did it with pride.
I don't understand.
I'm sure she was
I don't
Very proud of you.
I don't understand that at all for so many reasons, but especially like, I mean, like you're I don't know, you're trying to at least in some way sustain the romance of the relationship.
Like,
do you think Kendall walks back? Like, say she has to get up for a glass of water. Do you think she walks past that door and goes, "There's my man"?
Oh, dude, she's rooting me on. Go Ben.
I don't think so.
I
She
met Kendall.
loves me.
We should call her.
We should probably
Honestly, we should
Yeah.
probably call her away from the show. Just
Probably.
me and Travis in the office later, like, is everything okay?
Yeah,
Has he been talking about the Ford Ranger a lot with you too?
Therapy Thursday?
Just reaching out, doing a courtesy
Yeah,
call.
wellness check.
We heard
Going for a
some
little
weird
test
stuff
drive
going
today,
on.
boys.
Yeah,
Who knows?
they-
I might be in a mother effing Ford Ranger next week.
I ain't no stranger. It's a Ford effing Ranger. I almost cursed there. I couldn't help myself.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
well, that's happening.
yeah. And also, how about fireworks? Got a little fireworks going on.
Yeah, fireworks going on and a cage match that we gotta break down.
So much.
I can't wait. It's all coming up next.
Okay, we have a cage fight coming up. We're not sure if this is real yet. but potentially 2 billionaires are going to fight mixed martial arts. We'll explain next.
Yeah, the Big Bay Boom, California's largest July 4th fireworks display is happening. You can watch it from various locations around the San Diego Bay and listen for the soundtrack simulcast on 101.5 KGB FM starting at 9 p.m. July 4th. It's brought to you by the San Diego Air and Space Museum and Superstar Car Wash. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, no doubt. Cannot wait.
Do you get a view of that, Rich, from your place?
Ooh.
Yeah, on Mission Bay, you can see all the fireworks. You could see downtown, you can see North County, and you can see SeaWorld, obviously. That's like every Friday night in Pacific Beach. If you walk down to the Bay, you can see the SeaWorld fireworks, which is awesome. But yeah, the 4th of July, the Bay I live on is covered with people.
Oh, really?
Do you guys have
Oh
to
my
claim
gosh.
parking spots first thing in the morning? Get
Yeah.
out there.
What we typically do, especially if we're having guests, is we park on the street the night, like the day before in front of our house, and then we leave the driveway open. And then our guests park in our driveway because it's a madhouse. Just people will walk 7 or 10 blocks to get to the Bay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the 4th of July. Love it every year. Here in San Diego, it's special because we have the best weather in the country. A lot of places you go outside to watch a fireworks display, it's just muggy. It's like 97 degrees during the day and it's humid and everybody's standing on top of each other. And they're like, isn't it going to be great? Well, it'll be so romantic to watch the fireworks. And just, you come back, you're like, we almost got trampled and we almost lost one of our children and we're all wet, just covered in sweat.
Are we out of time already?
No.
What?
It's 6:50, 4:30.
Son of a bee sting. We have to talk about this cage match next.
I'm sorry, I have golf on the TV. The clock isn't up there. I apologize.
There is breaking news out of the NBA late last night. We haven't talked about the mega deal blockbuster trade. We have to talk about this cage fighting match. We have NFL one-liners.
Therapy Thursday.
It's Therapy Thursday. Get your text in now if you need help with anything. 70470. Start your message with with team.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Throwback.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we have some Fallout Boy tickets to give away. All that coming up next.
This update is presented by Mercedes-Benz. Starting off here with the Padres. They've lost 3 straight to the Giants in the Bay Area. 4-2 loss last night. Update on the standings with 88 games left in the season. Padres 9.5 out of first place in the NL West. 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card. NL West last night. Rockies lose to the Reds 5-3. D-backs take down the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers beat the Angels 2-0. NBA draft coming up tonight. Spurs have the first pick. Presumed to take Victor Wembanyama from France. 7'3". Absolute stud, one of the highest rated prospects in NBA history. And in golf, the Travelers Championship getting underway right now at TPC Rivers Highland in Cromwell, Connecticut. And intelligence runs in the family. Innovation runs in the family. Extraordinary runs in the family. The Mercedes-Benz range of SUVs. Every member waiting to impress. Learn more at MBUSA.com. That is MBUSA.com.
Really nice dude.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we have a TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter presence that is unlike any other sports talk radio show, I think, out there.
Swag.
Yeah.
I think we go the extra mile.
I feel like on the Flip Cup twerking video,
Yeah.
I feel like if I would have had a second chance, or maybe like
You
practiced one time,
We're the closest by far. You were the closest by far. So
all I
Ben
did is fall over.
So Ben, what's the problem is the setup for Ben. He doesn't have the shelf. Like when he bends over, his back rounds. So the cup's off balance to begin with. But he gave it hell. I mean,
I can't figure out how to make my
It
my
almost
booty pop.
landed, but no chance it would have stayed even if it landed
that's
correct.
what I mean. I feel like it'll slip.
It'll just slide
like a
off.
glacial shelf back there.
Because part of my back is also kind of my butt.
Yeah,
Does that
you
make
got-
sense?
Rich put the cup into orbit.
got the back butt.
I got the back butt.
You're gonna make a great old man where like everybody's like, well, why does he belt his pants just under his nipples? Like, well, most of his back is butt.
It's crack all the way up.
Crack to the middle of his spine.
Look, I can't figure out how to make my booty pop. And meanwhile, you sent that cup into orbit, man. I mean, that thing went so high.
It was like a bucking bronco.
Hold on. Is Ben booty popping or just moving his whole body?
He just kind of gyrates if you watch.
You're just moving your knees. Moving your knees there.
When he does it, when he looks like his legs look like pistons and he's just sort of bouncing in place.
Just doing that.
My problem is when I throw it back, like it's like, and like the cup goes airborne. And then with you, I don't know how you did it, but you got the cup, like you kind of just wiggled and the cup fell over. I was like, well, it's there. It's right there.
Didn't do anything. I just moved.
The ladies in the
honestly
office thought that video was hilarious.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Shauna was cracking up.
Oh, okay.
Taylor Yip like almost fell over laughing and was very impressed by the recoil on Rich because it went once, but then like without moving again, it went again.
Rich is an athlete.
It was like the aftershock.
I was also singing body yada 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 while I was doing it. Yesterday was an interesting day for me. I also humped a chair in studio.
Yes, you did. I got video of that too.
Violently.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
cast the chair aside when you were finished.
And almost kicked Travis in the face.
which I didn't notice.
You were
at
about
all.
12 inches away from a lawsuit.
12 inches is a mile. though.
That's really
I mean-
a lot longer than you think.
Yeah.
That is way too long, some would say. Yeah. So, anyways, we found this video online of I think her name's Michaela Murphy. She legitimately, she's world renowned on TikTok for twerking, for shaking her butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started commenting on all of this. And
Yeah.
she saw our efforts and she appreciated our
She
efforts.
scored it.
I
She
feel like
did.
there's a lesson coming.
What's the lesson?
Like we're gonna do a video with her and Rich, and she's gonna teach Rich how to twerk.
Oh, I thought you meant there was a life lesson that
Yeah.
we're going to all get from this.
Yeah.
No, I mean a legit
that lesson is let your booty do the work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're quitting radio. We're going into twerking.
Pro twerking.
Yeah, we're gonna be pro cornholers and pro twerking. Those two things are unrelated, I promise.
They should be though.
I'm sorry, but how is this still going on?
What are we talking
Top
about?
left.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, the last I heard was at about 3 a.m. they were out of oxygen. I mean, between 3 and 4. Officially, they're saying there is no breathable air left in that sub.
So this is the submersible that went underwater to check out the Titanic wreckage in the North Atlantic. They still can't find it, and so it's over. Like there's no chance there's anybody living on this sub.
Well, I suppose they're still hoping for a chance, and I guess it could change if maybe someone passed away on the sub and was not using breathable air.
Right.
That might extend.
That was my theory. Day
yeah.
one, you try to take 2 people out so there's more oxygen.
Right.
So like Lord of the Flies.
Right.
Ben's just like, we're gonna kill Piggy.
Yes.
And he's tribute.
Yeah.
Um,
They said that. Let's see. Hold on. Deepwater robot officially reaches sea floor with another moments away, and begins searching for missing Titanic sub just 10 minutes before oxygen supply runs out at 12:08 p.m.
Okay.
So at 12:08 p.m. Is that this morning?
I guess it's
I don't know.
yesterday.
Yeah, this seems
That
strange.
would have to be yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah.
What's crazy about all this is they're going to send other subs down there, I guess. And the problem with the sea floor is, especially over wreckages, is you have all that like sea floor silt from all like the decaying or dead plant life that just sort of settles on everything. And as soon as you start, scooting around, it all gets dusty and you can't, or cloudy, I guess is the word underwater. You can't see anything.
Yeah. And there are things, organisms, debris in the water, and it is dark. I mean, it is pitch black. So when the light only goes so far.
The thing also is, I hope nobody else gets hurt or dies searching for these people who paid massive amounts of money just to go explore in a vessel that some deemed unfit for what it was doing in the first place. So all of this is just harrowing and awful, and I don't know what to make of it. And all I know is if Ben was there, he'd be the lone survivor. He'd be able to live for like 2 weeks because he would have murdered everybody because they were breathing up all of his good air.
Very nice.
So how did you do it? I just put everybody in a rear naked choke.
The end.
Sick bastard.
Every week.
I don't know if I would think about that when I was down there, but I was thinking about it here.
Well,
they're sending robots down now. Sending robots down.
He's like, I was thinking about it here, looking at you two, because I would just choke you both out if we were in a submarine.
If the 3 of us were trapped, like it wouldn't take that long for us to die because we consume a lot of oxygen.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we're always doing activities that requires a lot of oxygen.
Twerking,
twerking, mainly
or laughing at TikTok videos.
Yeah, which hopefully
there's Wi-Fi.
God willing, they had Wi-Fi and TikTok down there. All right, moving on to the cage match. Speaking of TikTok and other social media platforms, so Elon Musk, I believe, was the instigator of all of this. Elon Musk is an instigator, kind of, right? He likes to put out memes on Twitter. He bought Twitter in the first place. That almost felt like he was instigating. Well, now on his social media platform, he said, you know what? I'm up for a cage match. Mark Zuckerberg took him up on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Zuckerberg that actually wanted to fight Elon Musk. And Elon Musk literally tweeted out, send me a location.
What are they trying to hide from us?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know. Like, what shady stuff are they doing behind the scenes that they want to like make everyone look over here at them fighting each other while they're actually, I don't know, taking over the world down here?
Yeah,
maybe you're right. I can't tell I can't tell where the tweet started here.
So it looked like as a reply to a tweet, Elon Musk said, I'm up to a cage match if he is. So Elon Musk, I think, basically replied to a tweet about Mark Zuckerberg saying that he would fight him in a cage match. Mark Zuckerberg, who, by the way, is in insanely good shape and practices Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is like, finally, I have somebody who I can fight who's like maybe not in his weight class, but just as nerdy.
Zuckerberg
I honestly, Zuckerberg would kick his ass.
Yeah, I think.
Like, have you seen him recently? He's come a long way from chugging Mountain Dews and typing code.
Okay, hold on here. Elon Musk though isn't out of shape, I would say.
No, but Zuckerberg like does the Murph. I think he trains jujitsu.
But I think Musk has like 100 pounds on him.
Mark,
if Elon connects.
So Zuckerberg says he takes a picture of the tweet, and then I guess on Meta or Facebook, somewhere on his Facebook or Instagram, he wrote, "Send me a location." So then Musk replied to Zuckerberg. Again, this is Elon Musk, the owner of SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter, said Vegas Octagon. Of course, referring to a UFC cage where I guess the two billionaire social media magnates are going to fight each other.
I hope that they bring this to Dana White and he just looks at him and says, "Get the hell out of my office."
No, why?
Dana White won't do it.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can call JD Wicker.
Yeah, he gets everything done.
Jam Center, baby.
Everything done.
Now Kai Flynn can be the ref.
We're going to do it at the Jam Center. And Richard Stern will just be there babysitting us again. Associate Athletic Director Richard Stern will just be sitting there typing away while Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg beat the stuffing out of each other.
And then at the end,
Jam Center.
Who won?
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't even know who won the Hardwood and Balls Classic. He was like, "Oh, J Riff." He was like, "Yeah, I saw that coming." Anyways, you guys have fun today?
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
Don't know why you were here.
Yeah. Elon Musk also added this. He tweeted later on, "I have this great move that I call the walrus, where I just I'm not kidding. This is what's happening. Where I just lay on top of my opponent and do nothing." By the way, I have that same
That's
move.
called sex.
That is my move.
My gosh. I mean, like, I feel very seen right now.
It's weird. I named it the same thing.
I put in the tusks and everything.
The walrus.
And I'm going to shower. Okay. Good Lord.
Did I win? Oh, so that's happening.
Yeah.
Like we are spiraling towards the end of the world.
This is
We're already there, man.
This is it. This is how this all ends, which is fine. It's fine.
There was some happenings in the NBA.
There was.
Wow.
We've got a 3-team blockbuster trade. The big news is the Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis. They also get a 2023 first round pick, 23rd overall this year's draft, and a 2024 first round pick. All of this because they dealt Marcus Smart. Wizards also involved in the deal. They get Tyus Jones. But yeah, the Celtics get a haul. Wizards get Tyus Jones. Grizzlies receive Marcus Smart. And this sort of goes back to what we thought might be the issue in Boston. I thought they were going to keep it together. I really did. It was kind of like, keep it together for the kids kind of thing. Even though there was trouble in paradise, Smart and Jaylen Brown didn't appear to like each other.
Mm-hmm. There was some obvious chemistry issues in that Heat series.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, this has been going on for years.
Yeah.
They do not like each other. And that's been, they even made mention to it. It's like they had a very real, conversation during these playoffs where they're like, we're putting emotions aside. Like, who cares? Everybody's open and honest. Whether you like each other or not, we're just going to go out and win together. And the problem is they didn't. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, somebody had to go. And it turns out it was Marcus Smart. So he leaves Boston. Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis. My question is that enough to stop, say, I don't know, Jokic and the Nuggets?
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Then this is
or the Suns who now have a super team,
yeah,
or the Warriors who are going to reload. No, it's not enough.
Which is crazy to think, right? What's also crazy to think when you're looking at the NBA like that, then you look over the NFL, and I mean, no matter what teams are doing, I go, is it enough to beat the Chiefs?
Did you say, should we look over to the NFL?
Yeah.
Wait, I have one more thing to say about the NBA before we go to the NFL. Kill the music. Hang on. So the other storyline to this is I cannot
You
wait
just got me so excited. It's football.
It did feel like football
The
season
Padres
just
suck.
started.
NBA draft is tonight. Who cares?
Felt real good for just a moment.
Marcus Smart is now teaming up with Jean Morant. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, well, not for 25 games.
Well,
but-
right.
Right,
You know,
right.
there's
Well,
that.
fine.
There's a
That's fine.
little bit of a spin because somebody can't keep their hand off of water guns.
It was a lighter.
Lighters.
Oh,
lighters.
sorry,
Yeah.
a lighter. Now it's a lighter.
Listen, you know how many lighters I've had that are full-size pistols?
So many.
I've
So
seen
many.
one in my life. Yeah. And I've never touched it.
It's like a
Yeah,
real,
it's a real lighter.
and it's the size of a normal
Yeah,
pistol.
and actually, it was a little alarming when I saw it on my buddy's countertop when we were in Merced. But
I've never seen one that. I've never seen one that big.
I use this to light my cigarettes and rob liquor stores because they don't know the difference. So Jean Morant is serving his 25-game suspension, but when he comes back, he's going to have a new teammate, and that's going to be Marcus Smart. So all of a sudden, asking the same question that I asked about the Celtics, Smart and Morant, is that enough? Can they contend with Nikola Jokic and Murray out there? And
probably not.
No,
Yeah,
I still don't think so.
Okay.
Travis, can you do that thing again where you kind of sneak the NFL into the conversation?
Well, I just thought, it's crazy when you look at a Nuggets team going, man, they're just complete juggernauts. No matter what the other teams are doing in the NBA, they just can't compete.
Mhm.
And then you look over to the NFL and you think, wow, is that the same with the Chiefs?
Did you say we should look over to the NFL?
What?
Boys, we haven't done it in a while, but let's get some NFL one-liners. The Padres season feels like it's falling apart on top of us. The NBA is in the middle of June, and so there's not much going on. But some NFL one-liners, baby. We haven't done these in a while. Number one, will any of these running backs who are pissed off this offseason, I'm talking Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler got taken care of, but will any of them be happy with their deals they get for this season?
The only one is Dalvin Cook. And I'll tell you why. Because Saquon Barkley's pissed he got franchise tagged. And if he holds out, he's going to be pissed because he's going to be fined the whole year up until he decides to sign his tender and play or potentially get the deal he wants. I don't see that happening with any of these guys, though. Jacobs is in the same situation in Vegas. Pollard's in the same situation in Dallas. So Dalvin Cook, as an unrestricted free agent, getting paid $2 million by his former team this offseason or during this time throughout the NFL season, gets to double dip. So he's going to be happy somewhere. Say he gets paid, I don't know, $5 million a season. He's going to get $5 million from his new team, $2 million from his old team, and then potentially latch on with a team that's got a real chance to make a run.
And his contract, much like Austin Eckler's, is probably going to be pretty heavily incentive based.
Mhm.
So if he has a good year, he's going to be extra happy because that $5 million you said might be base, and then there might be an extra $2.5 million in incentives.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody's going to be happy. I don't think anyone's going to be happy, even if they're getting the double dip, because they're not getting paid what they're worth. Maybe I should put that in air quotes. Not getting paid what they're worth. It doesn't matter if they're getting a paycheck from somewhere else at the same time, because whatever deal they sign will not be good enough for them. I mean, no one's going to be happy.
I'm actually team Travis here because I think the running back position, I think the league as a whole, not necessarily colluding, but individually is looking at how are we going to be able to sustain running backs throughout a career. You do that by lowering the contracts. All right, number two, let's take away the first tier of quarterbacks and look at that tier two here. So Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield, who has the best season and why?
Look, I think it's going to be Daniel Jones, but I'll say my 1A choice would be Mac Jones. So quickly on Daniel Jones, I really like Brian Daboll. Now, this is contingent, however, on the happiness, like we were just talking about, of Saquon Barkley as running back, because that was the whole offense last year. If Saquon Barkley has a bad year, we're not talking about Brian Daboll, the Giants' first-year head coach, is a genius. We're saying, yeah, they're years away from being good, and we're going to see how good of a coach he is. Saquon Barkley was the tentpole of that whole offense. Moving on to Mac Jones, he now has an offensive coordinator. When he had Josh McDaniels his rookie season, good. When they put a defensive coordinator in an offensive coordinator role in New England, bad, very bad. Now he has Billy O'Brien. O'Brien, offensive coordinator. Good? We'll see. He would probably be my pick if Saquon Barkley holds out for any length of time during the season.
I would be just flipped on that. I think Mac Jones is going to win this fight here. Daniel Jones would be my 1A. However, the reason I think Mac Jones is because what you just said, who they put in there as offensive coordinator. But number 2, well, I need to wait until we go to our third one-liner.
Well, let me
because
take.
I think he's gonna. I think there's gonna be a move there.
Let me make a quick argument about Baker Mayfield, because Baker Mayfield joins the Buccaneers. Now, I don't think the Baker Mayfield's going to have the best season out of these people, but I can make a choice. I would say Daniel Jones, but my argument would be Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, and Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield is now joining probably the most talented wide receiver staff he's ever had, without the personality of OBJ on the team, right? Because he had the Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry in Cleveland. But this wide receiver staff can make Baker Mayfield look a whole hell of a lot better, and I do think he has a little bit of the swag. Number 3, we all think these guys will have a positive impact wherever they land, but where does DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook land?
Yeah, I think DeAndre Hopkins lands in New England. I think he lands in New England. I think that he laid out what he was looking for. I think the majority of the boxes get checked in New England. I think that Belichick will put together a nice little proposal for him to come over, make things look comfy, and I think it'll make Mac Jones look a lot better this season.
All right. I agree with that. I think that's where Hopkins lands. And also, he's got friends on that team, and he's used to the Billy O'Brien offense, regardless of what happened to them personally, or if there are hard feelings over him being traded to Arizona, which was Billy O'Brien's decision. I think they can put that behind them and move forward together. I think Dalvin Cook goes to the New York Giants if Saquon Barkley holds out.
Oh, wow, really?
Because what the hell does Brian Daboll do without Saquon Barkley? You need a running back. You need a bell cow running back for that offense to go. And Dalvin Cook is a bell cow running back.
Yeah.
So you get him on the cheap while you're waiting for Saquon to get back, if you can do that. And off to the races the Giants go.
Ready for the wild card pick?
Yeah.
There are a lot of things have to happen for this to happen. But say Stephon Diggs and the Bills, that relationship further deteriorates. DeAndre Hopkins to the Bills. Number 4, Justin Jefferson, Nick Bosa. Do they repeat as offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year?
I mean, I don't see why not. However,
you're putting a lot on Kirk Cousins, though.
He did it last year.
Yeah, I know.
And I honestly don't know
again.
Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the team that's going to win the most. Offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year is so stat-based. And Justin Jefferson, if nothing else, will get probably 1,400 yards this year if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I see Justin Jefferson. Nick Bosa, I don't see why not. I still think Micah Parsons is a great pick for defensive player of the year. I think the Cowboys will have a decent season, but they'll cowboy as normal Cowboys do and
Number
fall apart.
5.
Well, hang on. I want to answer this really quick because I think very easily the offensive player of the year could come out of nowhere. And my out of nowhere pick for that would be like Calvin Ridley with Trevor Lawrence down there in Jacksonville and the Doug Peterson offense.
Suspended?
No,
to start the year?
No, he's back. He's back. He served his 1-year suspension.
Right.
By the way, he looks amazing. And I know he's going to be a feature piece of that offense playing alongside Christian Kirk. That could be one of those comeback player of the year situations. It could be an offensive player of the year situation. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be amazing. And I agree with you about Micah Parsons. He was my pick last year. Now he's going to be a dedicated pass rusher. He's my pick this year.
I do have a wild card pick for this one as well for offensive player of the year, Breece Hall.
Interesting. Out of the New York Jets.
Wow.
He got hurt last year.
He got hurt last year, but he comes back this year. Offensive line's better, quarterback's way better.
Yeah.
Wide receiving staff is better. Like, it's going to open up a little bit for a running back to really dominate with that Jets team.
Yeah.
Last one before we get out. Cowboys, is this their year? A stat that Colin Cowherd gave yesterday, 4 playoff wins for the richest franchise in all of football since the year 2000.
Short answer, no.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah,
Can you believe that? They've had 4 playoff wins since the year 2000.
You know me. I think Dak's great, but he doesn't win in the postseason. That's a big problem for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, we need callers on the line. 844-570-1360. If you want Fallout Boy tickets, you got to call right now. 844-570-1360 is the number to dial. We're about to play Mustache You a Question, but first want to talk to you about my feet. Feeling a lot better since wearing these arch supports from the Good Feet store. You got numerous benefits. Pain relief, just talked about that, but better balance, performance, injury prevention, recovery. These arch supports can alleviate pain in the feet, the knees, the hips, the backs. They got these personalized free fittings and test walks. Let you try before you buy. You got to get to a Good Feet store today. Check them out at goodfeet.com or walk into a store. They have 200 locations across the U.S. and overseas. Trust me, it's worth your time. Call right now, 844-570-1360 to play Mustache You a Question for Fall Out Boy tickets next.
We got a pair of tickets to see Fall Out Boy Saturday, July 1st at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Or we're going to give them away next with Mustache You a Question.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Starting off with the Padres here. They've now lost 3 straight to the Giants in the Bay Area. 4-2 loss last night. An update on the standings with 88 games left in the season. Padres 9.5 games out of first place in the NL West. 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card. Moving over to the rest of the NL West last night. Rockies lose to the Reds 5-3. D-backs take down the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers beat the Angels 2-0. NBA draft coming up tonight. Victor Wembanyama is the projected number 1 overall pick to the Spurs. He's a 7'3" stud out of France, one of the highest rated prospects in NBA history. And in golf, the Travelers Championship getting underway right now. The TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut. Keegan Bradley in the lead, 7 under par through 11 holes. Streelman 5 under through 13. Shane Lowry at 5 under through 9. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Rick Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760 every single Thursday. It's a mustache kind of a day.
Oh, yeah, it is. It certainly is.
And we got some tickets to give away, so let's do this right here.
Hairy upper lip or nah? It's up to you to determine. If you want the prize, you have to play the game. It's time. We mustache you a question.
It is the game show that is sweeping the nation. It's Mustache You a Question. We hear that we're absolutely huge in Seattle. Yeah. The city by the Puget.
We just had friends that went up there. They were saying that everybody was talking about Mustache You a Question, like nonstop, no matter where they go.
They tune in the 7 o'clock hour and they just sit sound side and they just listen to the soothing tones of guerrilla radio.
That's correct. We do have a contestant on the line. Our contestant number 1 here, Alexander. Alexander, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Right on. We're happy to have you here. Do you know how the game works?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, just for the listening audience, we'll throw it out there one more time, but we're going to play a clip. You just have to tell us whether or not the person speaking in that clip has a mustache or not.
Yeah.
And you got to get 3 out of 5 correct.
It's so simple, Alex.
Really simple.
All right.
Alex, are you in Seattle?
No, I'm actually in Fallbrook.
Right on.
Fallbrook.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a stone's throw, really, from Seattle.
It gets cloudy and rainy out there, like
Sure
Seattle.
does.
Yeah,
Sure does.
definitely.
Is that Fallbrook, Massachusetts, or is it California? California. Okay, I'm sure it's California.
North County.
Sure. Alexander, what's the is there a sandwich place there, the Firehouse or something?
Yeah, Firehouse Subs, really good. There's a vintage fire truck out front. You guys can check it out.
Yeah. I've been there, but it's been quite some time, and I feel like I remember them being absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I love me a sub sandwich. In fact, maybe after the show, might pick myself one up.
Maybe during a break.
Maybe actually during a break.
How fast can we get to the Subway sandwich?
We are going to drive to Fallbrook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Alexander, here is your first clip. You need to determine whether or not this speaker has a mustache or not.
My fellow Scots, on September 18th, our people will take to the polls to decide once and for all if Scotland should declare its independence. Now, both sides of this argument have valid points. The freedom-loving heirs of the Highland tradition and those who enjoy crawling like worms beneath British boots.
Wow.
Yeah. I will give you one hint. This is a cartoon character. That's the only hint you get, Alex. We must ask you a question. Does that person have a mustache or not?
He has a mustache.
Yeah.
That's groundskeeper Willie.
That is. Nicely done,
What is that
Alexander.
from?
It's from The Simpsons. Yeah. You don't know
What the heck, man? What?
The janitor.
Yeah. Jeez.
technically a
Golly.
groundskeeper, but we'll let it pass, Alex. You got one correct answer on the board, and you are crushing right now. The confidence level rising for Alexander as we move on to clip number 2. Ben, if you will.
I feel like I bring a real joie de vivre to law enforcement. For example, my uniform, I do not wear the regular. I feel like I bring a real
That was my
joie
edit.
de
Sorry.
vivre to law enforcement. For example, my uniform, I do not wear the regulation uniform. I wear these shorts here. And actually, I had to lobby the sheriff's department to get permission to wear these. But my argument was, hey, I'm out there in the streets every day. I got to be able to move like a cheetah.
Yeah. He's got a Schwada Viva. The question is to you, Alexander. What we must ask you a question. Does that voice have a mustache?
Yes, he has a mustache. That's
Yeah. God, look at this, Alexander.
Really
yeah,
good.
he knows Lieutenant Dangle. Woo! Nicely done. 2-0. You get one more. You're going to win some Fallout Boy tickets.
He might sweep
He
here.
might.
The Padres just got swept, or will get swept if they lose again today.
Alexander, do you play baseball?
I have never picked up a baseball bat in my life.
That qualifies. You can be a Padre.
Tell you what, it's not going to get any worse. We're going to send you to San Francisco after this.
There we go.
All
Clip
right.
number 3. Let's see if you can get a clean sweep here, Alex.
Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes. Go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. Getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy. Oh. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Wow.
Without the visual,
Yeah.
it sounds like something entirely different is happening in that scene.
1,000,000%. I jerk that pistol and go to work.
Ha! Gonna
Jeez.
skin that wagon? Okay.
Skin that smoke wagon,
Wow.
Alexander. Does that particular individual, Alexander, have a mustache?
They do not have a mustache.
Ooh, no.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
That is
That is
incorrect.
Incorrect. Yeah,
there we go.
it
There's
is.
the buzzer. Alexander. Yeah, that was Wyatt Earp there from Tombstone.
Yeah.
Had a very prominent, Peter Seidler mustache.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
that may have been Peter Seidler. I don't know.
it could be. It goes to the chin. All right, so you're now up still 2-1. Your next correct answer wins, but if you get this next one wrong, we go to sudden death. So this is an important answer, Alexander.
This is big. This is big.
All right.
Here's clip number 4.
Back again, Burt Reynolds in a commanding lead with $14. Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson. Moving on. Mr. Reynolds, unfortunately, you're in the lead, so we'll start with you.
All right. All right.
All right, Alexander, we mustache you a question. Does that particular individual have a mustache?
Yes, he has a mustache.
I think we have a winner. Alexander, you win. You just won yourself a pair of tickets to see Fall Out Boy on Saturday, July 1st at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at livenation.com. But you, my friend, you just won him here with Mustache You a Question. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling amazing. Thank you, guys. That was one of my favorite childhood bands.
Yeah, right on, right on.
man.
I like that a lot.
That's cool, Alexander.
That's great news.
Hang on the line. You're going to have those tickets coming your way. Ben's going to get your information. Really, really fun playing with you today. And coming up next, the PGA still in hot water over this Live Tour merger. We thought we had a respite from it because the U.S. Open went off and there were a lot of good feelings around the winner. But another golf great has put the PGA on blast. You'll hear about it next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Mustache, a mustache, a mustache. Now we both have said mustache, a mustache, a mustache. If you've only got a mustache. Woo!
Okay, coming up next, we got to do it. We got to talk PGA, and that's just what we're going to do next.
That's right. That's right. Darren Smith's going to play. Must ask you a question, I think.
Yeah. And by the way, coming up tomorrow, we also have another pair of tickets to see Fall Out Boy on Saturday, July 4th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or listen for your opportunity tomorrow on the Bar Cart Friday to win some Fall Out Boy tickets. Looking forward to having Kegel in studio, Tony Kanja and crew bringing in our next spirit to sample on a Bar Cart Friday. Woo!
Does not feel like tomorrow's already Friday.
No, I'd say Friday came fast.
Yeah, it's moving this week. It's moving. You know, it's interesting. Yeah, you kind of take steps forward in the week and you feel like you're getting closer to the weekend. And I kind of feel like that's how the PGA felt. Remember, you had all this live golf stuff, the merger with the PGA. Everybody was pissed off at PGA's commissioner. And then after Jay Monahan stepped down for the interim with health issues, right?
And did he step down or did he just step out?
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, I'm having some health issues. So my two lieutenants are going to take over for me during the U.S. Open, and I'm just going to stay out of the public eye for a little bit. And then the U.S. Open happens, and everybody seems pretty happy with the results, and life keeps going the way it's been going. Mm-hmm. Well, not so fast. You have obviously greats in the game still playing, but then you have guys who are older fellas who are just like, you know what? I've lived long enough. I've played enough golf. I don't care. Tom Watson's one of those guys, and he just went after the PGA.
And it was like a 9-page letter.
Yeah, it's a very lengthy.
Yeah, 10,000 words plus. But I mean, during the course of the letter, he talks about the failure of the PGA to communicate to its athletes, and this merger completely took everyone off guard. He doesn't see very many benefits to this. He has questions all over the place, and he asks them openly, talks about the tour's hypocrisy here after invoking emotions of the families of those who lost people in 9/11, then going back on this and doing business with the Saudi Public Investment Fund. I mean, he absolutely lit up the PGA here.
I've thought a lot about this since the day that it was announced, and Travis said it on air. He was like, I think we have breaking news. I think Live Golf and PGA just merged. I didn't believe you, to be completely honest. I thought you got duped.
Right.
I was like, there's no way this happened. The more and more I think about it, the more I think that the PGA Tour may have gone away completely if they hadn't done this merger. Because I think that's the only way that this would have actually happened. And maybe that's given too much credit to Jay Monahan and the people who got their wallets greased by a ton of money from the Saudi regime. But I honestly believe that if they thought that if they had to go to court with Live Golf, if they thought they had to go to court with the Saudi regime, that they would have gone so bankrupt that they couldn't afford to have a tour anymore.
Well, I don't think they would have. I don't think it would have bankrupted them. I think the issue is all of a sudden you would have bankrupted the trust of the players in the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you open up your books and these players get to see how much money the tour is making comparatively to how much money they're making, you would have open revolt. You would have players saying, yeah, we're just not going to play in your tour anymore. Like, we'll make our own tour before we play for you anymore. Because, and that's the reason why they merged. It wasn't because they were going to be drained dry. It was because they didn't want to show these players how bad they've been stiffing them the whole way. That's the reason why they didn't want to go to court.
Yeah, well, yes, that is correct. Why they didn't want to go to court. There was also, I believe, the fear of Live Golf was a pretty good product. And so the PGA didn't want to have the better product rise above them.
I disagree with that.
It wasn't going to rise above them. Like, they were getting, like, at most a couple 100,000 viewers. At most.
Currently.
Right. But where they were succeeding and probably surpassing the PGA was they had TikTokable moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you remember the Dustin Johnson on the private jet that Live Golf sent to take him from a Live tournament to one of the majors earlier in the year, and it looked like a freaking party on board this private jet.
Yeah, but that doesn't get you rights deals.
It doesn't. But
nobody was interested in those tournaments.
But the perception from people who aren't watching golf on a regular basis was that Live was succeeding because of these moments.
I'm not doubting that. Social media can be a benefit to your tour, to your league, all those things. But if nobody's watching, which nobody was, I mean, you yourself, I mean, how many? You're a golf nut.
I watched one.
Yeah.
The first one.
No, I had no desire to that. I just meant that Live Golf was probably doing all the right things to start to hit at the pocketbook of the PGA enough to where they thought we need to do something to change it. Take them out of the game.
Again, I disagree with that too. I don't think their business model was particularly great. I don't think the structure of the way they did these tournaments was particularly great. I don't think anything Live Golf was doing was beating the PGA necessarily. I just think that they had a strategy, and the strategy was to sue them. The strategy was litigation. The strategy worked. Yeah, to bully them. Like, literally. So you have these defectors to Live Golf, and they're pissed off at the PGA. All of them, every last one of them, including Greg Norman, who was like the CEO of Live Golf, has an axe to grind with the PGA. Phil Mickelson, who defected first, had an axe to grind with the PGA.
Greg Norman's been trying to do this for 25 years.
Yeah,
this isn't new.
Yeah, he's been wanting to fracture off and have his own tour for years and years and years. There's a lot of dissatisfied golfers, and they knew if they get the most dissatisfied golfers together, they would be able to sue the PGA.
And the rumor floating around was that John Rahm was actually close to signing a deal with Live right before the merger.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think that if they had stolen all of the top pros, eventually what you're saying may have come true. They may have had a competitive model, and they may have been able to undercut some of the exposure that the PGA has. But this is an older demographic. None of the golf fans really wanted to switch over to Live Golf. Nobody really liked the product. The problem was open litigation with the PGA. They knew if they opened their books, and may have been for more reasons than just profits. There might be skeletons in the closet somewhere that they did not want to expose.
That also opens them up to the government, who could take away their nonprofit tag.
Oh, yeah.
And probably would have.
Yeah. So I think this was the strategy from the beginning. I don't think it was to launch like a great or competitive product. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it was always the goal was to sink the PGA and have the Live Golf, even if it was an inferior product, be the only shop in town, or push for a merger. So now it gives legitimacy to Live Tour, which has happened.
And what's still confusing, and who knows what will be clarified by the time the next tour season starts, but they're still separate. Like, that's kind of what's confusing me going on. Like, there's still going to be live tournaments and PGA tournaments, and live golfers are still going to play in the live. PGA is still going to play in the PGA, but there's some tournaments that are going to be intertwined. There's some events that are going to be intertwined. They have so many messes to clean up before the next year starts.
Think of it this way, because this is the way I think of it, is you've always had the European Tour, you've always had the PGA, and you've always had crossover where PGA golfers can golf in certain European Tour competitions and vice versa. And then obviously all bets are off for the majors.
And to clarify, the European Tour is the DP World Tour, that's what it's called now, but that's only been the last few years.
Yeah, and it was something else before that, but it goes by the European Tour because it's confusing if you call it anything else. The European Tour, though, it's always been that way with those two. So I think Live Golf, this Saudi Golf League, is still going to exist until maybe it doesn't. Maybe they don't see a need for it anymore, because the truth is they own all of golf. They own the DP World Tour, the European Tour. They own PGA. They have obviously always owned Live Tour. And so they could just get rid of Live Tour because they now owned the PGA.
I'm curious to see if, like, you take some of the weeks out of the PGA Tour calendar year, and now they have those tournaments like this one that's going on right now, the Travelers, which actually has a bigger purse than any of the majors have had this year, because that was part of PGA's reaction to the Live Tour in the first place, was to make bigger purses. But I'm curious if you take certain calendar weeks out of the year and make them the combo weeks that are like team events that are a little Ryder Cuppy, and you try to start new unique ways to bring in the younger demographic, because unfortunately for golf, the older demographic is dying off. So they need to be looking for the new audience. And I think they have had success in people who are my age. The reason I'm into golf, it's because of the social media channels I follow all have a golf aspect to it. So I think that the benefit they can offer the PGA is by tweaking things and making it not boring 4-day tournaments, making it something a little more interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if the tournaments have to change at all. I mean, you could do things to make it more interesting, and part of that is their presence on social media has been great. I mean, if you're capturing these moments and putting them in a package that is very consumable for a younger audience, they will gravitate towards the sport regardless. So to me, I mean, if Live Golf just vanished and it was just PGA again, that's fine. I mean, that would actually be better for me.
Let the men wear shorts.
Yeah.
Let them drive carts.
By the way, Tom Watson, 79, 10th all-time in terms of tour wins. This would be like if Joe Namath attacked the NFL after a merger like this. Like he's one of the greatest who's ever played golf.
I do suggest people go read it. It's really long. But if you're into golf at all, go give it a read.
Yeah, it's interesting. Points out a lot of things that I didn't even know.
I think it's on Golf Digest on Twitter.
The Padres stink again. We got to get it back into that storyline. It's really not great. And welcome to the future. Pizza delivery everywhere. We'll explain how. And Kevin Acey joins the show on StreamYard. We're going to have him on our YouTube Live, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on YouTube. We'll be right back.
It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD and Fletch. This update presented by Staples Stores. Padres have now lost 3 straight to the Giants of the Bay Area. 4-2 loss last night. Update on the standings. They got 88 games left in the season. 9.5 out of first place in the division. 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card. NOS last night. Rockies lose to the Reds 5-3. D-backs take down the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers beat the Angels 2-0. NBA draft coming up tonight. Spurs have the first pick. They're presumed to take Victor Wembanyama out of France. He's a 7'3" stud. One of the highest rated prospects in NBA history. Over in golf, Keegan Bradley currently leading the Travelers Championship as it gets underway today with first round action at the TPC Rivers Highland in Cromwell, Connecticut. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions to apply. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Yeah! Woo! Man, oh man, oh man. It is a Thursday, and happy Thursday to those who celebrate. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. There's a lot of fun going on out there, right? We got a little NBA draft coming up in a little bit. We got Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg about to have a cage fight.
They're going to get it out.
And it's good. It's good that there are distractions because the Padres stink again. It's just the worst.
That is how that feels.
It really is. It's just every time you mention this team's name, it just sucks all the oxygen out of the room because you want to get excited about something, right? That's what sports are for. I remember during the pandemic, I was so sorely missing sports, and I had no idea how important it was to me. I mean, as a former professional athlete, you'd think I'd have a pretty good bearing on how important sports are to me. I had no idea.
Well, what made it even worse was the fact that we were so consumed in a news cycle. Like, we needed the break of sports.
Oh,
like, it
yeah.
was rough.
And so what it does is it brings a little lightness to your day, brings a little bit of smile and joy to your family or your heart because, you know, things get tough at home too, right? The kids are running around. They got this, you know, swim practice or this, you know, baseball tournament or hockey this or dancing that or, you know, Lord knows. I mean, people are tugged in so many directions. And then all of a sudden it's 6:40 and you're like, oh, the Padres.
Down in mud.
Yeah.
Down in mud.
Come on.
Yeah.
Our buddy Scan.
A little break.
Little Scanlon.
Scan's got great hair.
Post game with Palm. Ah,
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. Sweeney doesn't
Sounds
have
good.
hair, but we love him.
yeah. He's a little bald. That's fine. Rub his
Breaking
head.
news.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, sorry. I was doing my Mark Sweeney head rub.
This is going to make every Padres fan feel a whole lot better.
What's that?
Coming up in 24 minutes and 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Wait, this is the breaking news?
Kevin Acey is going to be on StreamYard. He just asked for the link.
Wow.
Yeah. He's going to be on our YouTube live.
Unbelievable.
If you've never ever seen us in our live edition of this show, video edition of this show, go to youtube.com right now.
This is the one.
There's only one YouTube. And you type in Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and you will find our page. Subscribe to that page, and then set your watch to 8:30 on the money because Kevin Acey, you're gonna see Kevin in all of his glory.
Gosh,
this is incredible. We cannot promise nudity. That doesn't mean there won't be.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it won't happen.
I mean,
we will ask him how long his nose is. Wait, oh wow!
Yeah, there you go. You saw a man nipple.
Yeah,
Ben just popped
just
it out.
happened.
Ben has like these bronze nipples.
Everything's so golden. Did the camera pick it up? The camera has that much of an angle.
That's good. It's a severe angle on Ben.
Let me look at one. Oh yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, picked it up.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So
No
Kevin
diggity.
is going to be on camera, so he says.
Yeah.
I texted him this morning and said, "Morning, Kev. How we feeling about the stream?" He said, "Feeling fantastic." Send me a link.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. I really honestly don't. Like, if I was in Kevin's situation, like he objectively, he has to cover the team. He has to report on the facts. Padres good, Padres bad, doesn't matter. He's just telling you about it. But still, there's something to it. And we talked to him about this last year when he was a guest on our show, our Padres Insider. He was like, yeah, it's more fun. The job is more fun when they're good because everybody's in a better mood. Everybody's more available. Everybody wants to talk because you're talking about exciting things. it's very different when a team's struggling. All of a sudden, you get a little bit more, hey, we got to circle the wagons. We got to be protective of this thing that we have here. And it probably makes his job way more tough.
Well, what's crappy about it is when the Padres were good, nobody had an issue with Kevin. Like, Kevin was a better writer. People loved what he was doing every single day. When they're bad and Kevin relays information that he gets from his sources in the Padres front office, everyone calls Kevin a liar.
Yeah.
He's just saying what he hears from the Padres front office, and people attack him because it's not what they want to read.
Well, the city gets excited when the Padres are doing well. I mean, there's a buzz, there's a vibe, there's an electricity that is just palpable in the, I can't even say the word, in the air.
Yeah.
That is there when there is good things happening. And when it's not, everything gets sucked away.
Perfect example. We just got this on YouTube from our buddy Gus. I'm not watching another Padres game until they're over 500.
He may not watch another 100 game. I don't know. Have they been over 500 all season? Has there been one
beginning
moment
of the year? Yeah. So they started 0-2, and then they won the next two against the Rockies, and then I think they won a game wherever their next series was. They were over 500 at one point.
Okay.
From Paris. Good morning, boys. The SF series, 3 games, 26 men left on base.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Woof.
That's rough.
By the way, it is confirmed now off the text line in 70470. Start your message with team if you want to text the show. Camera did get the nipple confirmed, but a little grossed out. So there you have it.
You're welcome.
Douglas here on the stream said hard to watch. I think he means the Padres. He might just mean us in general.
Yeah.
I mean, both could work.
I think this about the Padres.
It's confirmed.
I want
to
preach patience. Like I want to be the guy that says, like, just wait, there's a lot of season left. But these were the months that I was talking about when I was doing that in the beginning of the season. I was saying, look, the turnaround can happen this summer, and then everybody's going to forget about what happened during the early portion of the season, the early, quarter of the season, the early third of the season. But here we are, we're in the second third of the season, right? If we're doing trimesters, we're in the second trimester here. And it ain't working.
Yeah, yesterday we did the math. They would have to be 19 games over 500 as of yesterday to get to that 89 win mark, and now it's up to 20.
Yeah, it's frustrating because they're running out of time, and it hasn't really. The line hasn't moved enough where you're feeling secure in the fact that this team has that button, that switch that certain teams can flip, where they say, "Okay, now we're going to be good," because there hasn't been much of an indication of that. However, I will say this. I caution everybody who's already writing off the Padres with this little key bit of information. We said that almost exactly like this on the other side of the All-Star break last year.
Right, but last year the difference was they started the season really well. Last year they started the season and had a little bit of cushion heading into the All-Star break where they were over 500 by multiple games, and then in the second half they started to fall apart a little bit. This year they are starting themselves in a grave. And they are going to have to dig their way out of it before the All-Star break if they don't want changes to happen, and then again after the All-Star break if they want to get into contention. Yeah. Right now, 9.5 games out of first place in the NL West, 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card, in a wild card race that is going to be much more hotly contested than the one was last year.
Yeah, well, you got teams in there that you never thought would be, which is just crazy. And you have the Dodgers who are sitting in that final wild card spot, which the Dodgers, you're 8.5 games behind. I mean, it's going to be a tough road to hoe here. A little bit of a side note here, a little bit of a departure. We talked about being huge in Seattle during Mustache You a Question from the 425, which is confirmed. That is an East Seattle area code on the text line. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, really huge in Seattle, at least in my house. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I love it.
That feels good. That feels really, really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at the 2022 game results for the Padres. I'm looking at the exact month we're in. We're at June 22nd, right? Okay, so on June 22nd, the Padres were 44-27. They were 44-27.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That seems better.
Yeah. At the All-Star break, I'm talking about right at the All-Star break, they were 52-42.
That's what's called a cushion, my friends.
Yeah.
A cushion is something they do not have currently.
After the All-Star break, remember when it was getting kind of grim where we're like, geez, that was a pretty rough month of July. We're getting into August now. When is this team going to turn it on, et cetera, et cetera? Right before the calendar ticked over to August, the Padres were sitting at 57 and 46.
That would be called a cushion, my friends. A cushion is something we do not have.
So there were 11 games over 500.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, this team is wildly underperforming. And it's getting hard to defend, again, that they can flip that light switch at some point and just become great. Again, we're brushing up against historically bad, not only for the franchise, but across Major League Baseball. And then when you factor in the fact that, and I mean, not in every phase of the game, but like average with runners in scoring position, I mean, if they get to the All-Star break and they're still sub 200, that may tie some of the worst hitting teams in the history of baseball.
Insane.
Danny Vietti said it yesterday. If this continues through the rest of the year, which hopefully it doesn't, hope to God it doesn't, but if they stay underneath the Mendoza line with runners in scoring position, they will be the worst hitting franchise with runners in scoring position over a single season in MLB history.
It seems impossible. I mean, it just seems impossible. And I understand, you look at the stats and you go, well, it is impossible. It is mathematically impossible. However, not really. I mean, it could keep up, and then that's going to change the mathematics. That's going to change the stats. It's just, how do you have this many fantastic players on a team and it just doesn't work?
619. My little league team finished with 3 wins on the season, and we still had a better batting average with runners in scoring position than the Padres.
Good Lord.
I'm going to give you the 2023 salaries. Machado, 17 mil. Tatis, 7 mil. Xander Bogaerts, 25 mil. Yu Darvish, 25 mil. Joe Musgrove, 20 mil. Jake Cronenworth, 4.2 mil. Drew Pomeranz, 10 million. Haven't seen him. Blake Snell, 16.5 mil. Suarez, 10 mil. I mean, look, they are paying. The point I'm trying to make, Hassan Kim, $7 million. Juan Soto, $23 million. Josh Hader, $14 million. Nick Martinez, $10 million. Look, these guys are making a tremendous amount of dough. The players who this team needs to rely on over the course of this season, they're all rich men. I mean, it sort of feels besides the point. But the problem is when you're talking about historically poor statistics and you have a owner who's contributing this level, making this level of a commitment to a payroll, all of a sudden it makes you think to yourself, again, if I'm the businessman at the top of this, what are we doing? Why am I saying it's like we're throwing good money after bad?
Look, I had this take early in the season, like 2 months in, when the Padres were struggling. We were saying this can't continue. I said, if you're Peter Seidler and you're watching from the owner's box, you're like, what the hell did I pay for?
Right.
Because this is unacceptable. Well, here we are 2 months after that, and it's getting more unacceptable every single day.
Yeah, but I don't care. I do care if I was Peter Seidler, what you're paying for. Even if you're not paying guys, you're looking for them to produce.
Let's put it this way.
Whatever you're getting paid, you're there to produce, man. I'm not paying you a few $100,000 a year just to sit around. I want you to produce. And guess what? If you produce more, you'll make more. And that's what the stats have shown for these top paid players, that they have produced tremendously throughout their career. So they got big paychecks and now there's no production.
Yeah. It's like, just localize it to your own home, right? Say you're deciding whether to go, you're building a house or you're getting some work done on the house, and you're deciding between a contractor who's got the bargain basement bid and then the middle of the road guy. But instead you say, you know what? We've got such good recommendations for this guy. He's out of our price range, maybe slightly, but he does amazing work. We've seen his work in the past.
I've seen photos.
Yeah, remember,
I've seen videos.
We went to the neighbor's house. You remember what their new
incredible
bathroom looks like? We were like, oh my God, a waterfall shower. How cool would that be? You know what? Yeah, we're going to go with the really expensive contractor. What if he shows up at your house and it's just sloppy work, right? He's trailing paint on his shoes going in and out of the door. He's ruining your hardwood floors. He shows up and he doesn't have the parts. And so this bathroom project that was supposed to be maybe 2 weeks worth of work is now extended over a month. 6 weeks later, you got family coming in town this summer. You're not even sure if they're going to have a bathroom to use. You would be pissed. That's what Peter Seidler is going through right now, because based on a suggestion from his good buddy, AJ Preller, hey, spend all this money on Machado. Hey, spend all this money on Tatis and Bogaerts and Soto. Hey, trade away all these prospects. Trust me. Mm-hmm. These guys are good. Mm-hmm. And then they show up and they do sloppy work. They're tracking paint on your hardwood floors. You're going to start having doubts about AJ Preller. And that came up in the conversation with Danny Vietti yesterday too.
And
he said his seat is the hottest.
Oh yeah, and it is. Believe me, if this, like, I know that it was a topic of discussion yesterday and it got a little heated, but if the Padres do not make the postseason this year, if this continues, AJ Preller is in real trouble. Arizona Diamondbacks, lowest payroll in the National League West. Arizona Diamondbacks are 45-30. 45-30. The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean that's they're having a season. They're having a season, at least so far. You know, things could go south, but it doesn't look like it. But I mean, congrats to them.
Dude, you watch them play. They're what the Padres should look like. Everyone on that roster is having fun. They're stealing a ton of bases.
Yeah.
They're hitting like crazy. Like, it is a young, fun team. And unfortunately, the Padres look old, tired, maybe injured, and like a bunch of rich guys who don't care.
I don't know if they look old and tired to me.
Manny Machado looks old and tired recently, and I think he's injured. And I think he's not divulging it, but I think Manny Machado is hurt. And he's playing at about 50% of his normal self.
On June 26th, the Padres last year were 45-30.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. I mean, you know,
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I would trade that in a heartbeat. And this was a team, by the way, last year that we still had some complaints about.
And it didn't have Fernando Tatis Jr. on it.
Yeah.
Who has been damn near MVP level over the last month and a half.
Oh, this is so.
Like, you're doing this poorly with Fernando playing at the top of his game. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
There's so many problems here. It's just.
Can we talk about the freaking pizza?
Let's talk about the pizza. Yeah,
let's talk about the pizza. Out in the UK, what was the name of this festival? Let me click on this.
It's some sort of music festival. It looks like a fun one too.
It does.
It looks go out there.
We should probably head to the UK.
Did you say they were 45-30 on June 26th last year?
45-30. They had just lost to the Phillies, and it was, you know, obviously getting close to the break. But yeah, 45-30.
That is frustrating.
The Glastonbury Festival out in the UK. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
The Glastonbury Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Look, now if concert goers, they're out in the festival, they're in a sea of people, they want a piece of pizza, they can order it on the app. Domino's delivers the pizza to them while they're standing in the middle of the festival via jetpack.
Have you heard of Michael Jordan's golf course?
Michael
Jordan's golf course, if you order beer or food while you're, like, say, on the 14th hole, a drone flies it to you.
Oh my God.
Drone is cool,
dude,
but I don't know if it's as cool as the jetpack.
Jetpack's cooler.
Can you imagine if you order Domino's and then 15 minutes later, a dude in a jetpack is landing in the middle of a concert festival?
It's the stuff we've talked about since we were children.
Do you have to tip 30% for that? How do you calculate that one? Is that 30% tip? Do you have to go above and beyond?
You just double whatever your purchase price was. If somebody, I'm telling you right now, if I order a pizza tonight and somebody lands on the porch, I don't care how they got their catapult, I'm giving them double what I paid for.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, literally a dude wearing a jetpack and he has a giant box strapped to his back to keep the pizza warm.
We got to do it. Padres positives. We have to say
I got nothing.
We have to say one positive. I don't care if you have nothing right now. Think about it. You'll
Fernando.
go last. If there's one positive, there has to be one positive thing you could say about the Padres.
Fernando Tatis Jr. threw a guy out at home last night, but he didn't end up actually being out. He ended up being. It was a good throw.
It was okay. Padres.
It was a great throw.
He had a great throw.
No, I'll say my Padres positive is Fernando Tatis Jr. flipping the bird to all the haters who call him steroid user, call him all these things, because he's having a damn good season.
Okay. All right.
I feel bad for him.
Can you think of one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
They're not the Rockies.
Okay.
Yeah, except the Rockies are supposed to be losing.
I'm just saying. Pretty good. It's pretty good.
The Rockies didn't mortgage their future for a window of winning World Series.
Why are you trying to turn these positives into a negative?
Yeah, it's not happening for me today.
Okay, Padres positive. Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, they have panned out to be like needed and very capable starters in this rotation.
And they've lost the last two games that those dudes have shoved. I gotta stop. I'll just turn this off.
Yeah, that is he's really struggling with the Padres.
You really threw me for a loop by saying that they were 45-30 last year at this time.
Yeah. June 26th of 2022, the Padres were 45-30. They had the identical record to the Diamondbacks today. 45-30.
There needs to be a mirror held up to some of these guys.
Boy, oh boy, you're not lying.
Their names rhyme with Schmake, Schmodenworth, Schmander, Schmogarts, and Schmanny Schmashmato.
Look, and honestly, Gary Sanchez needs to step up.
Yeah, what the hell is that guy doing?
Talking about it since the beginning.
That one might be on us.
This might be a big nothing burger. You've heard me say it.
Maybe they all need to get together, maybe for a luau. You guys thinking about that?
Hey, a little luau?
Maybe they need to say aloha to the
that'd be pretty
Catamaran
nice.
Resort Hotel and Spa. Okay, San Diego's original Polynesian-inspired family staycation destination on Mission Bay. Okay, so imagine this. Get the whole team. Get all the Padres down to the Catamaran for these sunset luau's. It takes place on the bay right outside of the resort, Tuesdays and Fridays, now through September 1st. I just took the family there. Okay, none of the Padres are there, and they're still losing. Okay, so maybe I need to, next time I go, I'm bringing Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, Snell. Dude, I would love to take Blake Snell to a luau.
That would be awesome.
Can you imagine?
That would be
Is that a whole pig?
Yeah. He's just over there just like talking to the pig head. Oh my gosh. No, listen, there's hula dancing, there's torch performers. That's how they close the show. It's absolutely incredible. This guy's throwing the flames in the air. The kids are in love with these hula dancers too. It was hysterical. I have a video of a close-up of Bash staring at the stage, and then I pan over and it's just the ladies, and I'm like, oh man, he's in Hornberger. They also have this volcano that erupts with confetti to start the whole thing. Guests can upgrade to the luau experience, the Kahuna VIP, which is you got the lei greeting, the souvenir cup, welcome hors d'oeuvres. It's a ton of fun. Get out to the Catamaran for your luau at catamaranluau.com. You can book right there. Again, that website, catamaranluau.com. And coming up next, Kevin Acey joins us live on the stream. Woo!
It's happening.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Padres have now lost 3 straight to the Giants up in the Bay Area with a 4-2 loss last night. Update on the standings with 88 games left in the year. Padres 9.5 games out of first place in the division, 6 games out of a playoff spot in the wild card. NL West last night, Rockies lose to the Reds 5-3. D-backs take down the Brewers 5-1. Dodgers beat the Angels 2-0. NBA draft coming up tonight. Spurs have the first pick. We're presuming that Victor Wembanyama from France will be the first overall pick. He is a 7'3" stud, one of the highest rated prospects in NBA history. San Antonio going to be happy for a long time with that one. And in golf, Travelers Championship, it's underway currently. Keegan Bradley in the lead. He's going low on day one. That's at the TPC Rivers Highland in Cromwell, Connecticut. During Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Offer ends July 1st. Exclusions do apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. Keep your business running right and save at Staples.
Big Rashidi and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Forgot it was time to talk there.
We're so distracted by the soothing, dulcet tones of Jim Russell.
Yeah, absolutely that. And I was logging into the StreamYard so I could see one particular individual waiting there in the green room.
By Kevin AC on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Quidel Ortho, changing lives one test at a time.
Yeah. Oh, man. He gets the on-ramp only deserving of a Padres insider, but also our best friend right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Kevin AC joins the show once again, as he always does on Thursdays. Everybody knows that.
Bringing that back?
Yeah, can we do a jazzy little bed the entire conversation?
Well, now it gets trippy because Kevin's on the computer and the music's on the computer, and so
that's okay. That's
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, we finally did it. Yes, this is great. This is great.
We did do it. We did do it. This is amazing to see your beautiful face, my friend.
It is. I agree. I got to say, it is kind of amazing.
Kevin, we have been talking a lot of Padres today, so we're all really upset. But we do something every once in a while called Padres Positives.
Right.
Where even during the darkest hours, we try to come up with at least one positive thing to say about the Padres, and each of us did. We will not reveal to you what ours were. We just want you to join us here. Like, what is the most positive thing you could say about the Padres right now, today, on June 22nd?
Okay, the obvious thing is Fernando Tatis Jr. has played fantastic. It's just so exciting to watch. I'm sure that one of you guys said that. I'm trying to think of something different. I'm trying not to be snarky. Like, the good thing is Xander Bogaerts didn't come up a 5th time with a runner in scoring position last night. I'm trying not to do that. I have far too much respect. It has reached kind of a point where it's just ridiculous. But Tatis is far and away, right? Like, but what sucks is like the Padres, their fans should not have to be saying that. Like, oh, hey, we got Tatis, we can go watch. That's a really good. No, you're supposed to be going to watch victories.
Yeah, you know what? Fletch did bring up the positive play by Tatis, and then he quickly turn that into a negative, talking about the bad call.
Well, my take was that Tatis had a really good throw last night, and it was an out, and it was an out by about 15 feet. But then after commercial break, it was no longer an out. Explain that to me, Kevin, because that's now twice in 2 days. We've seen ridiculous calls on outs at home plate, and 2 different managers getting ejected, Bruce Bochy and Bob Melvin.
Oh yeah, I forgot it. It was sort of slow developing how it got. Gabe Kapler called for the replay, so you would be a commercial break and thinking, and celebrating, and the 8th outfield assist. Look, had it been slightly more accurate, and I am nitpicking beyond belief, right? Like, had it been slightly more accurate, like most of his throws have been, then maybe we wouldn't be talking. It was a tiny bit up the line, but come on. I got to tell you that when I watched it, I said, that's going to be blocking. And I said it out loud. We talked about it in the press box, especially as a call review takes so long, like that one did, because he stepped over the line, and it just looked like. And I had in my mind from the night before the one where no one could possibly tell you why that was blocking. I don't understand that at all. I really don't. This one I don't think was blocking like in the what it should be, like the spirit of the rule, the fact that the runner was out by forever. But I said, that left some room for interpretation. And to me, that's the problem with the rule.
Kevin, do you think that the Padres win that game if they don't get, or if they get that call, or is that still a loss?
You have to go by what happened, right? So they win that game, right? Like it's 1-0. They're fired up. They did come out hitting. Now, of course, they still left runners in scoring position that inning, but you'd have to say, but there's, and I don't forget what like the law is, right? Like there's this assumption that everything's going to go the same way if one event was taken out of it. And that is not the case. But, yeah. Now, the other hand is, and I mentioned this in the Padres Daily, like if the Padres were up 2-1 going into the bottom of the ninth, that meant the Giants got to bat again. And that hasn't gone very well for the Padres the previous two nights. So you can't just say the Padres would have won that game, but they have every right, I think, that they have every right to be upset about that call and for them to believe that they got jobbed by it.
I remember in 2012, I was playing for the Arizona Cardinals. We had an awful season, and we went on a road trip to New York. We were playing the Jets, and we were in the middle of this awful losing streak. And our defense broke out into a fight on the field during a goal line stand against the New York Football Jets led by A.J. McCarron at quarterback. It was a dreadful year, and we got our brakes beat up in New York that game. I remember feeling like, oh yeah, we've lost the season. Like it's over. Like there's now hatred amongst this group, and the hate is flowing freely. How near are we to a situation like that here with the Padres?
First off, I thought there was going to be like a moral to this story. I thought there was going to be like maybe a happy ending or something. Like I didn't understand the story. You're like, you guys were done. It was a miserable finish.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So we went on a 4-game win streak.
It was the Cardinals.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah, you got to remember,
I remember covering them in the Super Bowl. I mean, at some point.
There were some good years. There were some lean years. I was involved in one of them.
Right.
Yeah. We went on a 4-game win streak that year. And then to start the season, by the way, so by week 5, we had 4 wins. We finished the season 5-11. So that gives you an idea of how that year went the rest of the way. So amid that losing streak, though, like tempers flare. Obviously, winning makes everything feel better, but it also disguises some discord. Are we starting to see some of those issues arise with the Padres amid all this losing?
Discord might be a strong word. As far as, I know, and look, I'm aware that things aren't great in some ways, the way that some things, guys aren't happy because they're losing. Guys aren't happy because their own statistics aren't good. Discord, I think, is a strong word. Look, they got to find a way to make things happen, and they were. That's the crazy thing. The other thing is, like, in no way am I saying, I'm not trying to draw positives out of this week. This league sucks. You need to find a way to win. You could be 3-0. You should be 2-1. But like that, what I just said, like they could be 2-1. They were in these games. Like they weren't hitting well with runners in scoring position, but they did have some home runs. They did find a way to be leading in the late in the game in the 9th inning in one to 8th inning in another. They had the call last night. It's like this team is still right there. That's the problem, though, right? Like you'd almost want it to blow up. You almost want it to be a fight. I've talked to a few people on the team about how like the teams I covered in the 90s would have already had like a fight in the shower, and they would have gone out drinking beers, and but that's not how it goes now, right? Like yeah, like it's ugly right now, but go home and play the Nationals. it wasn't terrible this week. Like, it didn't look horrible. Because the fact is, Manny Machado keeps talking about how we are making too big a deal out of the runners in scoring position. Well, we are, because you're losing and it's costing you games. They've won plenty of games where they were 1 for 7, right? With runners in scoring position. Now, not plenty, not even close to plenty. They have won games, and several teams have, right? Like, that happens all the time. Find a way to win. Last year, for the first 3 months, they were not a great hitting team. They were 15 games over 500. But like, find a way to win. Find a way to play together, to play for each other, to all whatever, blah, blah. But I don't think it's that bad. But to me, then also, that's like a part of the problem. Like, it's not that bad. We're going to be okay. It's like late June now. We can call it late June, right? Yesterday was the solstice, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
We can call it's not too late, but it's getting late.
Yeah, without a doubt. Earlier, I guess it was a couple weeks ago now, you mentioned there could be a tectonic shift in the Padres organization. I'm looking at a picture behind you. I think that's a seismic map. Are you staying in the San Andreas suite up there in San Francisco?
I don't think that it has a name.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't
that's fair.
think that it has a name in my room, but wow, I hadn't even noticed that. I don't really. Wow, that's one of the nicer ones. Marriott's have like the same artwork in all of. I recognize them. It's kind of like it makes you feel at home. And that's a look. It's like 3D, guys.
Oh wow! It is attached to the wall. You can't take it.
I do love being able to see Kevin and all the fancy artwork. Kev, I'm glad Trav mentioned it because I did want a little bit of an update on that. So you said that you had spoken with Eric Grupner, and if things don't change, like they're not in the black, they're in the red.
Right.
So
right.
where are we at right now?
Now, Eric Grupner wasn't talked to per se for that story, but yes, that my reporting there was current, but also based on what we knew going into the season, and that is, but like it's never a 1-year thing. Okay, they're not in the black, they're in the red. Well, they knew that, that's fine, but the winning part was to like build toward it, right? Like, okay, you got the 28 sellouts. They're projecting like 45 sellouts. Will they get there if they suck? Everything that has happened will lead to another thing, either another domino, either good or bad, to a certain extent. I don't know that it's what I just said. Like, they need to like just suck or just be good so that the organization knows what to do. Right now, they're still contenders. They very much are. I know it feels like they're not, but they are. And so I don't think we're right now talking about that. But believe me, with every day that passes like this, I go, my antenna's up. You're trying to figure out what's going to go on. You're trying to talk to people. People are upset. It's not a good time right now.
Yeah. And speaking of which, okay, and I know this can change, and this is just your opinion. We're asking you because you're close to the source and all that. But right now, what's your gut telling you? Is Juan Soto and Josh Hader going to be Padres on the other side of the trade deadline?
Yes, I still think that this team is gonna, they're going to have too much talent to be like this all year. I just do. You have 3 games against the Nationals. You have a road trip against super hot Cincinnati team and the Pirates. You come home, you play the Angels. Is it the Mets after that? I forget who it is to finish out, I think, before the All-Star break. It's super important. Just like I said in that story that you referenced, this is an important time. I think that is really important that you're leading up to the All-Star game. I don't know, I can't do the math, how many games that is, 15, whatever. At the end of this trip coming up in, I think it's in Pittsburgh, the middle of the trip, you're going to reach the halfway point. This is a super, super important time where we could maybe be able to answer that question more. But because I want to answer your question, because I'm looking you in the eye right now, my answer right now is yes. People forget, and they hold that against me for the rest of my life. You said they were going to be here. Yeah, I said it with like 47 caveats, just like the collision rule, okay? So interpret that.
Okay, last question from us. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, 2 tech giants, are going to face each other in a cage fighting match. That is a real headline.
No,
if you
it's
could choose,
not.
I swear,
Oh, it is.
It's real.
After you get off with us, you need to look up that article. It's real and it's ridiculous. Oh, but you know what? It's not that ridiculous. Is there like a journalist who you would fight in a cage?
Ooh.
I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah,
What?
there is.
There
There is.
definitely
Jim
is.
Russell.
Oh, there is.
Jim
It's
Russell.
Jim Russell, isn't it? We knew it. We knew it. Okay.
Is Jim
Kevin-
Russell a journalist?
Yeah, that's Kevin's line.
Wow.
Wait a second. Is he a journalist?
I don't think Jim Russell's a journalist.
He's yeah.
I don't even
He's
I don't even know if he has
Now
a journal.
here, we don't have enough time for me to get into this, like that
Mhm.
that gray area, the blurring of
Yeah.
the lines, and I don't really care that much. But there is one person in particular who I can't stand, and yeah, I get in the cage with him, yeah, for sure.
Okay, that is amazing.
I mean him or her.
No, he said him.
It's a guy.
They,
It's a guy.
Okay. All right. We
Yeah,
got
I'm
to
good
the
with
bottom
that.
of it.
It's Mark
without a
Grant,
doubt.
isn't it?
It's
Mark Grant.
It's Mudcat.
sure.
It- you-
Yeah, speaking of journalists,
It isn't not Mudcat. But, last question. Actually, real last
Are
question.
you guys about Rice-A-Roni in San Francisco?
you have to you start to deny, and then all of a sudden, there's a process of elimination. So I have had no comment on any of these.
Okay. Real quick, Kevin, are we journalists?
Ooh, yeah.
No. We
Connection's
flipped up
getting kinda
on our
bad.
ass yesterday.
Wait, I got an award for journalism.
Shut
a year
Shut
ago.
up, Travis.
Like a
Don't
year ago.
brag.
Yeah, it's fine. I knew people.
Embarrassing us in front of our friends.
He was the only one in the competition.
I was the only person in the category, and I won.
Hey, you guys, I gotta go. I gotta go.
He's got to
Wow,
go.
you gotta go.
This happens every
I
time.
never
Bye,
want this to
Kevin.
end, Kevin.
Bye, Kev.
Thanks, bud.
Bye.
Yeah.
Whoop. I feel like we always do this to Kevin. We just say one too many questions at the party.
It was
and
going so well.
And then,
Yeah,
and
and
then
he says like, I gotta go. And
he just
leaves.
always gets so upset with us at the end.
He just
If we
backs out the
look
door.
back internally on that interview, I think maybe he really liked Travis's question about the 3D painting,
Mhm.
and he really didn't like the question about the journalism.
Well, I mean, but who would you fight is such a simple question.
Yeah.
You could say Bryce Miller.
Right. Do you think it's Bryce Miller?
I don't know, but that would be an amazing fight
would
to
be
see
so
Kevin
great.
Acey and Bryce Miller of the San Diego Union Tribune.
I got money on Bryce.
Do you?
I think so.
I mean, like, yeah, actually, he is scrappy.
He's a little wild card.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like he would get, I mean, like, ripped on whiskey before
he-
getting in that.
Yeah,
cage.
but he's an outdoorsman. He likes to fly fish.
Does he really?
Oh, he loves to
that's
fly
right.
fish.
He
But
does fly fish.
Do you think Kevin Acey though would get like some like intense anger?
Like a
and,
cocaine
yeah,
bear?
Yeah, cocaine bear. Kevin Acey with cocaine bear.
We got a break, or we're not gonna have time on the other side.
All right. We'll let the bit drop next. Yeah.
Hey, the Big Bay Boom, California's largest July 4th fireworks display. You can watch it from various locations around San Diego Bay and listen for the soundtrack simulcast on 101.5 KGB FM starting at 9 p.m. on July 4th. It's brought to you by the San Diego Air and Space Museum and Superstar Car Wash.
Was just out there in Space Museum. Absolute awesome place. We threw Ty's birthday party there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very fun. Very fun. I was just at Superstar Car Wash.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm a card carrying member.
Oh, you are? You're in the membership program?
Yeah.
I've never signed up for a car wash membership.
No.
By the way, I think we got a text from Donald Trump.
Did we? What's say?
It says right here at the top of our text
Do
line.
the voice.
The Padres are just like Jeb Bush. Should be successful based on the name, but low energy, complete failure. Low energy Jeb, that's what I call him.
Billions of disappointments.
Billions of I mean, like, it's really rough out there in the streets. Who do we thank,
Thank
Ben?
you, Kevin.
Okay, that's
For
it.
coming on
The
video with
texters,
us. Your face looks
texters.
beautiful. Texters, roadies, dogs, hangers, bangers.
Alexander.
Travis, Rich, Alexander.
Yeah, he was our winner.
Golfers. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a full Thursday. Get ready. Rebrew is coming in tomorrow with Keg and Bottle for Bar Carb Friday. Looking forward to that. And we'll see you tomorrow. The Herd's next.